Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming out to see us today. If you don't know, my name is Brandon Bobber. I am the Assistant Scout Executive of the Pathway to the Rockies Council. And I'm excited to have you all here today, where we're going to talk a little bit about kind of membership stuff going on, specifically in the world of Cub Scouts for 2024. I'm going to introduce you to our VP of Membership here in a little bit. We're going to talk about the new Cub Scout program. And kind of see what some of the changes coming in that world are, and have some folks talk about some best practices with both youth and volunteer recruiting. I know those are both very important. And then pack troop relationships and things like that. And then we'll kind of talk about what the future of the Den in the Box has to bring. So, I want to introduce Kerm Neal. If you want to come on up.
Yeah.
Kerm Neal is our Council VP of Membership. So.
My pleasure to be here. I thank you all for being here also, actually. And that is my real name, Kermit, family name. I go by Kerm, just say whatever, And I've heard all the frog jokes. I'm older than the frog, so. But I do thank you for being here. What you're doing is vitally important. It's a great program. And what I would encourage you to do is soak in as much as you can here. You can always get in touch with Brandon. You can get in touch with me. I think my email address or phone number is on the council page if you have any questions on anything. If I don't know the answer, I'll make sure you get with the right guy, or girl, But we have a great council that really wants to help you guys succeed. And one thing I would encourage you to do is to try and link up with the scout troops that are out there, the male and the girl and boy scout troops out there, and try and do more with them and help with recruiting. That's a big in. I put Troop 194 down here. I'm still affiliated, and I still charter with them. But we actually had a setup that was very successful where we would set up a camp, Weeblo's camp out for recruiting. And it was gold. And it was good for the Cubs to go and see, wow, I can do all that cool stuff. I can make fires. I get to play with sharp objects under supervision, doing knots, doing first aid. I mean, it is great to do, map and compass stuff. So I encourage you to link up with some of those units out there that are out there. If you're affiliated in one, definitely strengthen that tie. If you're not, find one that's close and talk to them. We have a lot of units out there that really want to help you guys out, help you succeed, because you guys are really the foundation of what we're looking for. So I don't want to eat up a lot of time here. I'm part Irish. I literally kissed the Blarney Stone, so I could talk longer, but I won't. So with that, if there are no questions, I'll turn it over to Brandon. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Kerm. We're going to talk about the new Cub Scout program. Who here has any knowledge that the Cub Scout program is at least changing? All right, in less than a month. You heard about it? You saw something? Anybody not know anything about it at all? All right. Well, excellent. So you come a little. We wanted to make sure Nashville's been pretty good. They've been having these Cub Chat lives every week, talking about things, releasing a few things here and there. There's nothing that is out there, or there's nothing that I know that isn't already public. So. So it is pretty exciting. I will say, I don't personally have any children of my own. And when we went through the Den in the Box process last year, I came to a realization that it's a little embarrassing. I've been working for the Boy Scouts for about 17 years, but the role of a den leader, in my opinion, probably is the hardest thing you could ever do in scouting. And that was kind of the origin of creating the Den in the Box, but it was really reinforced as we went through that program and how sort of it was designed. I think the program is good. I think it's always been really good, but I think it was just kind of terribly organized and things like that. So I will say, had you asked me to be a den leader 3 years ago, I probably would have said, ooh, that's a big ask. If you asked me to be a den leader in the new program, I'd be like, yeah, I get it. I can see it. And I think it's really well organized, and we're going to talk about it a little bit of it. So I want to reiterate something here. It starts June 1. Why does it start June 1? June 1 is the beginning of a program year in the world of Cub Scouts. It is not toward the end. It is the beginning. So National does every year. If you're not aware, National does a grade rollover on June 1st every year. So kindergartners become first graders become second graders. So a couple things to go with that. There is no summer program for Lions. There never has been. So just know that. It's going to be a little reinforced in the new program, but just know that. Lions don't exist in the summer. Lions start in the fall. They finish in May. They become Tigers on June 1. So ready or not, you're rolling over to the next. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. All right. So the national organization went through about 5 years of planning to create these changes. It was a very iterative process of surveying den leaders. So every single den leader received a link to a survey. Anybody here take it? Yeah, a couple. All right. Thank you for your feedback. Feedback from over 23,000 Cub Scout leaders. And I don't think those surveys were short. So it was a very deliberate process. I kind of wish they had finished it up before last year, and it could have rolled out then. But here we are. But it's exciting, and I think it's very well done. So the big things they wanted to focus on making this fun, fun for Cub Scout leaders and parents, Cub Scouts leaders and parents. They wanted it simple to understand, to explain, and to support, and easy to deliver the program as designed. So no sending a den leader off to the deep hole of the internet to come up with your own stuff. It's all here. It's well organized, delivered as it's designed. And it rolls out in less than a month. Very exciting. They identified 4 areas of improvement through this process. Number 1 was the Bobcat. I didn't necessarily see that coming, but I get it. They decided one set of Bobcat requirements wasn't really effective. What do you do with returning scouts? Do they work on Bobcat? Do they not? The answer was they didn't. And is it a rank or not a rank? It may have been a rank when some of you were kids. It's not really a rank today. Won't be a rank tomorrow. And Lions didn't earn it, right? The adventures, there were disjointed required adventure topics, inconsistent number of adventures for each rank. That was kind of irritating. And volunteers wanted more elective adventures. The Weeblos program, yeah.
Are these slides going to be available?
They will be available, yeah. You don't have to take all these notes. But if anybody has questions throughout, we can, by all means, fire them off, raise your hand, and we'll address those as needed. But the Weeblos program, were they 2 separate programs, 2 separate dens? They didn't have 2 separate leader books and handbooks. What's up with that? And what is the purpose? Weeblos and Arrow of Light. Is that to, yeah. And the awards, the extra awards, not that many people were actually working on them or earning them. Average attachment rate of only 1.5%. And they didn't drive behavior. Moral recognition did not incentives. So we'll see some big changes. All right, I think Danston passed this out, so you've got this. So this is kind of what it takes to earn the rank in Cub Scouts. So there are 6 required adventures and 2 electives to earn your badge of rank. That is what you need to do. So these 6 required adventures, the 6 required adventures focus on the aims and focus areas of the BSA, and they are aligned. So Bobcat, remember we didn't know what to do with that. It becomes an adventure. It is now the first required adventure that Cub Scouts earn. We'll talk about the implications of that shortly for the various ranks. And then we've got outdoors themed ones. We've got personal fitness, citizenship, personal safety, and family and reverence. So we're highlighting those core values and aims of the Boy Scouts of America into the required electives, and then Scouts can earn 2 or required adventures, and Scouts can earn 2 electives of their choice. And you all have that slide. So they're kind of aligned, and so one of the big things that we had in the past was, what if you had 4 wolves and 3 bears? How do you handle that? And so while this is not absolutely perfect, and I don't know that you want it to be absolutely perfect in that world, they are more aligned. So this is the outdoor adventure for each rank. Lion, Tiger, Wolf, Bear, and Webelos. And they talk about requirement 2, taking a walk outside, spend at least 20 minutes exploring the outdoors with your Cub Scouts 6 Essentials. See a pattern? Reinforcing some of these things. It's building on itself year over year. And you could probably do this as a pack activity and everybody could earn and work on it together. Or you don't have to. But we have plenty of units that are, especially in rural areas, that are pretty small. So, we've got, let's see here, this one. Bobcat Adventure is designed to be the first required adventure. So, and that sort of builds on itself. The Bobcat requirements are not the same for every rank, but they build on themselves. So it's age appropriate for kindergartners in the Lion program and age appropriate for the Arrow of Light Scouts. And the Arrow of Light Scout, that's a big one, Bobcat. So we're going to really talk about that in a little bit. And as you can kind of see, one of the big things was separating Webelos and AOA. So Bobcat required adventures earned each year, not just once when you join. So the Lions, get to know the members of your den, have an adult partner, read the Scout Oath of Law to you, demonstrate your understanding of being friendly, share with your adult partner how you've done your best, and at home talk about the child abuse and parents guide. So that's throughout, but as you can see, it builds on itself and it's more age appropriate. This one right here, we're going to talk about a little bit more. With your patrol or with your parent, legal guardian, visit a Scouts BSA troop. So keep that in mind. All right, Bobcat gets a new look. It's no longer going to do that patch. But so those are gone. It's going to be an adventure loop or the activity pin for Webelos and AOLs.
So when our scouts that have already earned the patch required to remove that patch?
They are not required to remove the patch. And we'll talk about patch locations and uniforming a little bit. So, all right. One of the other things was kind of streamlining adventure requirements. I'm sure you've all seen these. How many are actually den leaders? You serve right in. Thank you for your service. How many? And I assume everybody else. Cup masters, committee chairs, committee members, things like that. All right, but most probably haven't been a den leader. But you've probably seen these books. This looks like a Scouts BSA merit badge book to me. Complete 2 of the following, complete 1 of the following. All these options really give kind of some leaders that are trying to really get up and running a little paralysis by analysis. Looks really complicated. I think ultimately there's only 5 actual requirements in all of this. And the options make it impossible to know. What are you doing? What do you really need to do? How do you earn this? So this was Code of the Wolf. That's been rewritten, and these are now the requirements for Code of the Wolf. You're still accomplishing everything that we wanted you to accomplish. We've just streamlined it and said, here, no more choices. This is what you're doing. This is how you earn Code of the Wolf. And there's going to be different activities and things like that in the den leader resources that will drive you to achieve each one of these. So you'll still have a choice of activities or projects or things like that. So, but it's simplified, it's clean, it's easy. Talked about a lot of feedback. I don't really want to get into the data and statistics too much, but they were striving for a lot of agree and totally agree when they finished out all the requirements from age appropriate, engage the youth in my den, and is it teaching a scouting skill? Why are we doing this? And then length of adventures. They've designed most adventures to be completed within 30 to 90 minutes. That is where most of them land. So that can be 1 or 2 meetings probably. Depends. Some of them will take a little longer, some a little less, but there's some electives out there that you can go knock out pretty quickly. So that can kind of help streamline your program in terms of Johnny was here last week. He did half the adventure. I haven't seen him in 3 weeks. How do we organize to make sure he gets done, right? So we want to build our den meetings around maybe completing a whole adventure or at least doing it all in 1 month for sure. And that's what they have said. I've kind of looked at some of the requirements and thought, ooh, that could be hard to organize a group of second graders. Make sure you do all this. But I think it's going to be more streamlined. Reimagining the awards to adventures. So all these extra awards, you got the Nova, Supernova, the World Conservation, the Summertime Pack Award, Cub Scout Outdoor Activity Award. Where do those really fit in the world of Cub Scouts? And I'll tell you, they weren't very highly achieved. Awards had an attachment rate of about 1.5%, so between 0 and 3%. That's all the Cub Scouts that were getting these things. While the elected adventures had between 15 and 25%. So they've sort of reimagined all these. So these are all gone. Starting June 1, those are done. They've been reimagined as adventures. Yeah.
I've been told both stories on the Nova. Some say it is completely gone. Others say it's not completely gone. You just can't buy it at the scout shop.
Okay. So National's been real cagey about that, and I'll tell you the honest truth is if your scout shop has them to sell them, they will sell them to you. You can earn them. If they don't have them, they're not in production, and you can't buy it from us. That's the true answer. So bottom line, all STEM stuff has been reimagined into adventures. But they sort of discontinued. It didn't really, these extra awards didn't really get any attachment rates worth anything, so they've kind of been cycling those out. They had stock on hand. If you want to go do it, do it. Here's the award. But they weren't haven't produced them in a while. Some more data about the various awards. Essentially, this was it an incentive or a recognition? So did this incentivize you to do something, or was it just recognition for something you were already doing? Ultimately, for the most part, things were recognition that units were already doing. So it wasn't driving behavior; it was rewarding behavior. So you guys have all seen these pictures: kids on bikes, going fishing, having Pinewood Derby. Now we have adventures that reflect these activities. I think before there was 1 or 2 fishing adventures and 1 cycling adventure. Pinewood Derby, I don't even know where that fit. It's a great thing that we've done for years and years, but it was really part of the Cub Scout program. I mean, it was. It's a program, but it didn't earn me anything. But so now we've got some of those things are built into adventures. So we have Pinewood Derby and Rain Got a Regatta. We've got a race time adventure for all the ranks that kind of focuses on that. And we have fishing, cycling, and swimming adventures at all ranks. So the bolds are new and the italics were existing. So fishing, we only had 1 fishing adventure in the past, and now there's 1 for everybody. So stay tuned for our new Cub Scout program, and everybody's welcome. We did fishing derby last fall up at Camp Alexander. We're planning on another one this year, but it's going to be an opportunity for your scouts to earn that fishing adventure. So we're going to build that right into the program for the whole day. Take one less thing and take it away, or help out your den leaders. Cycling, we only had 1 cycling adventure. We showed kids on bikes for years. We only had one time they did it, and it was in 1st grade. That's not a 1st grader. Swimming, we only had swimming from 2nd up, and it was only a weekless thing. There wasn't one for both. But now we have swimming for all the ranks, and we're working on some things with our aquatics committee to try to have some opportunities for things like that. I know some of these are a little harder for den leaders to directly do in the den setting. But that's kind of what we want to do moving forward. STEM stuff, so the Nova, the Supernova, some of that stuff, sort of baked into our awards or our adventures. So each one of the ranks has a science, technology, engineering, and math focused adventure. So you can kind of have some STEM focus baked into your ranks, should you want. And a lot of these, again, bold or new, and then some of these have been, so some of the adventures that stuck around might have gotten things pulled out and put somewhere else or redesigned and clarified. So I don't think the old adventures, they don't 100% just align to new adventures. So, but there's probably a lot of crossover. So you can see there was a lot of technology. Every one of these is new. And then math, most of them are new. And engineering, about half new. So got a lot of stuff baked in. STEM's pretty important stuff to folks. So we want to make sure we are offering things at all ranks for that. Here are all of the elective adventures, and you should have this on the back page of the one you were handing earlier. Wanting to keep you busy. Again, as always, the range and target adventures are available at council level events only. So that's your archery, slingshot, and BBs. Those are available at all ranks, but can't do those in a pack or a den setting. Everything else is yours to do.
So then at the Cub Scout shooting sports day at Camp A, I guess they would be aiming to complete these.
Yep. So we've got a day camp this summer where they're aiming to complete those, and that's the goal. So we want to try to ramp up some of those since they're adventures now, and not just an award. They were the Shooting Sports Award. And an FYI, BSA is going through a name branding change for shooting sports is now range and target activities. So, yeah.
So I was curious why the range and target activities are only at the council level.
They've always been that way.
Okay.
In the world of Cub Scouts.
Okay.
And that is just to really double down on safety. They're at council level stuff. And it's just a big safety push.
So I guess is there a council level member that is like a range safety?
We have a
Course.
council committee that manages a lot of this. So
Okay.
Yeah. It's a volunteer committee, and we could, if you're interested in that, we would love more Cub Scout representation in that. So, yeah. You first. Sorry. All right. Go ahead.
Since Lions don't technically start until September, are they going to be offering the range stuff in September? Because a lot of all this is only seen really in the summer.
We are looking at options of how to incorporate that. So.
If there are leaders who are like an archery certified, would they be allowed to do something not at a specific event? Is that like limits time?
These activities happen only at council and council events. So that is. All right. Oh, stop. Arrow of Light. Any other questions on all of this? All right.
Are the manuals for all of this available?
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit. All the Cub Scout books are right up here, and at any time I can pass them around. I don't care. But the Cub Scout handbooks are for sale already at the store, and we'll talk about den leader resources in a bit. So kind of a retooling of what that looks like. So, all right, we'll talk Arrow of Light. Okay, here's your Arrow of Light, and remember the Arrow of Light program, you'll notice, had less adventures here than many. This is designed to be done by January or February of the program year. So, a big focus. I would say looking at it, that could be difficult. So make sure they get a good start and get to it. But the Arrow of Light has become, it is the rank that is to prepare a young person to join a Scouts BSA troop. Webelos is now just the 4th grade Cub Scout program. It is not a focus on preparing you to join Scouts BSA. Arrow of Light is the time to prepare to join Scouts BSA. And National did a lot of work with Scouts BSA committees to ensure that it's very much aligned in that theory. And they start to act like, I mean, you'll see they are called a patrol, they're not a den. They elect a patrol leader, not a denner. So it is very much Scouts BSA light. So here are the Bobcat requirements for Arrow of Light Scouts BSA. And you'll see they choose a patrol name, elect a patrol leader, make that patrol flag, demonstrate Scouts BSA, sign, salute, and handshake. And again, with your patrol or apparently legal guardian, visit a Scouts BSA troop. So that now becomes something you do at the very beginning of your program year. You know, the Bobcat is the first required adventure that Scouts earn. So your summertime stuff, you can do that. And then when you start to get into you more reorganized as a den or a patrol, that's when you start working on required adventures. So Bobcat, I think August, September timeframe for most units. But that's where you ought to start building in those Scouts BSA visits. So there's going to be a lot of communication to troops to ensure they understand this. This is not a December, January activity. It's now an August, September activity. And oh, by the way, there is the outdoors themed adventure requires participation in a camp out. And so that could be with your den patrol pack or a Scouts BSA troop. And to finish that before January or February, you're probably going to want to do that in September or October, no later than the end of October 4th. I mean, you can, but it might not be as fun for a scout. So in that overnight act, currently in the Webelos and AOL program, a camp out is not a requirement. It is a required. It is a requirement for a required adventure to earn AOL. So keep that in mind. Like I said, the BSA, there was a lot of collaboration with the National Scouts BSA Committee to really revamp that AOL, to kind of make it its own thing and make sure it is all built around preparing a young scout to join Scouts BSA. And again, by January, February. Anybody in this room do crossovers not until May? Yeah. They should be completing earlier than that.
So optimally, when should the crossover be occurred?
So most units do it in February. They kind of treat that blue and gold banquet as a big crossover time frame. I think that's kind of where this was designed. That hasn't, blue and gold is the birthday of Cub Scouting. It isn't a graduation ceremony. But to kind of combine it all has been traditional thing. Some units have been pushing it all the way back to December, and they sort of start that new charter year. But that would be a hard push, I think, in the AOL program. But stock uniform. All right, 4th graders can stick with that blue uniform. 5th graders in AOL start to get the tan and green. Before we continue to move on, I'm going to tell you there's no BSA uniform police, and you shouldn't be the uniform police at the unit level. If a kid is outgrown the blue uniform and needs to rank up in the uniform, don't make the parent buy another whole set of blue. Just let them go. But this is the, there's no neckerchief and slide for a Weeblo or an AOL. There's no hat for an AOL. Any questions? Yeah.
So if you do the Arrow of Light crossover in February, what happens to them in March? Are they Boy Scouts?
Yeah, they go to a scout troop.
Yeah, okay.
That's that.
Because I witnessed it.
They get ready to go to summer camp.
Where do they?
Yeah.
Are they now Boy Scouts? So,
Yes, they should be.
yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Yes, and they're getting ready to go to summer camp. So if you hold off till May, they're going to miss out on that first year of summer camp.
Yeah, that's what I was going to touch on if you cross over in February that time, that gives them that big chunk of time to get established with their troop. You're not sending Because at this point, you're only camping maybe a Friday, Saturday. When they go to BSA, they're camping a week. And some parents don't want to send their kid away for a week. They're not ready. But if you were established with that troop for 3 or 4 months before summer camp, they're more comfortable. They already started getting sign-offs, and then they can move to that first year summer camp as a troop level. And it's just an easier transition for them.
And just to keep in the mind of how things process in the world of Scouts BSA summer camp, that your troop that you're crossing over into in February, they've already been reserved at their summer camp for the past 5 months. And so making sure that you have decided on which troop you're going to, you've made those connections early, you can start to already sort of commit to summer camp, even though you're still in AOL, and say, yeah, I'm in, but I'll be with you in February, but I'm in. So versus waiting until the very last end. I mean, so that's pretty key. Things tend to happen a long way further out in Scouts BSA. So, any questions on uniforms? All right. So no major uniform changes, by the way. There isn't like some new color or anything. So, Webelos and Arrow Light have their own books. So even though they have been their own programs for the last while, the BSA didn't really support that because they all had the same handbook, and we made them all in the same den in the box last year, and the leader resources were all in the same book. But they are 2 standalone books, and look, they're both very thick. The Arrow of Light book has content from the Scouts BSA handbook, and so it is meant to be a whole year of program for that scout. So it has their first handful of, I think, requirements for the scout badge are in the Arrow of Light handbook, but they're not meant to be worked on. That's just to give them an idea. So when they cross over into Scouts BSA, they can still have this handbook and have all the same stuff they need. If they don't have that handbook right away, everything that they need for that first little bit is already in that book. So I think that's pretty cool. Make it worthwhile. And again, handbooks are on sale. They went on sale at the store on April 15th, and you can go check them out. Badges, where you put those badges. All right, somebody asked about the Bobcat badge. They have to take it off. They don't need to take it off. All right, so this is how your badge order is designed to go. So no matter what time you join, you might have joined at a Lion, you might join at a Webelo. Your first rank goes here, and then your second, your third, and your fourth. Again, there's no BSA uniform police going to come tell you did it wrong. Just be happy those parents got that patch on the uniform, right? And that's really based around, that's for lining it up on a uniform. You're telling me if I miss the line rank, I got to put my tiger over here. That's just hard to do. And again, there won't be a Bobcat badge moving forward, so that reload is going to be. And we're bringing back the line. Was anybody around when we did the Lion pilot program? All right, yeah. So the Lion pilot program had this little square lion patch, and I thought I had gone crazy because I remembered a square lion patch. But then after the pilot program, they made it the bar, and now the square patch is back, or the diamond patch. So that bar, the lion bar patch, is now on. So, all right, program delivery. What does this look like? Handbooks. We talked about handbooks. Oh yeah, the big change. The Tiger handbook now. Tigers had a spiral-bound handbook. They will now have a handbook that sort of goes to the size and shape of the Lion handbook. So first graders don't read paragraphs, and so it's kind of more age-appropriate for that first grader. And both the Lion and Tiger handbooks. So anybody have a Lion or know the Lions currently? All right. So you had when they bought the handbook, they had the handbook, and then they had a den leader handbook. How many of your parents said, I'm not a den leader, I don't need that? So now it is an adult partner guide. And so when they buy the Lion and the Tiger, they both have the handbook and the adult partner guide and the little youth protection thing. So those are pretty key. And that adult partner guide I think it's pretty similar stuff. Part of the concept of Lion and Tiger Adult Partners is that they understand they should be welcomed in to maybe help guide some things, get them familiar with the idea of volunteering. I think that's 2 years to recruit some volunteers right there. And then Weebles and AOL all have their own spiral bound books. And there's this really cool thing, and you can all, like, at some point, or maybe I'll pass these around, but all the adventures are down the back with your required ones up front, and then this, and they are all color coded with a little color tab on the binding or the face there. So you can say, I want to go to the fishing adventure. I find that color right there, and there I am. So that's pretty cool, nice and useful.
Are there electronic or PDF versions of those?
Of those handbooks, I have not seen any. Yeah, I don't know. I've not heard about that either. So if there are, the Tiger and Lion books kind of have a lot of the illustrations that match stuff in the Scout Life magazine, and they're more of a workbook sort of style to work these kids through the program. Remember, they're trying to keep things age appropriate. We've had some staff members look at the Tiger book and say, "What have they done? They've dumbed it down." The first grade. So, leader resources. All right, get ready for a total change in how leaders are learning about their resources. There is not going to be a leader handbook. You're just on your own. But instead of having a leader handbook, there will be all of the resources are free to you as a leader and anyone on the scouting.org website. So here's what it's going to look like. This is not live yet. This will all go live June 1 on program launch. So it's all very mobile friendly. It's and you'll be able to navigate there pretty easily too. On every adventure, there's a little QR code right there. You'll be able to scan that QR code. It'll take you right to the adventure page where you will have all your leader resources available to you. So you're going to go here. You're going to say, I'm looking for my Lion or my Tiger rank, whichever rank you are. Takes you to the next page. Here are all your adventures. Here are all the Lion adventures. First, you must do Bobcat. After Bobcat, you can do these, and here's all your electives. So you choose whichever adventure you're working on. Takes you to this page. Snapshot of adventure.
Is there a hard stop in the coding that prevents them from going past the Bobcat?
No, I don't think so. Okay. Just because it doesn't know where you are. This is all just open, by the way. This is public website. This isn't, you don't have to log in, you don't have to be registered. This is out there. So then you're gonna have the adventure page. This says fun on the run. This is just some Latin text filler, so don't try to read it. So you've got the adventure page. You'll have a little snapshot of the adventure, a little safety moment. We're making safety moments into everything we do. And here are your requirements. Complete the following requirements. Fun on the Run doesn't have 9 requirements, but you click the requirement, and then you'll go over here. And remember how I said there will be activities or projects or things like that that will support each requirement. Requirement 1: get to know the members of your den. You will be able to choose which activity or project you want to do as a den leader that you have time to plan for that will help you meet the requirement number 1. So make a den flag, make a den doodle, name ball game. So these little cards will have some icons on them. So your den leader can say, hey, I have a ton of time to plan, or I need something in 30 minutes, right? So they have little icons. This first one, location. Is this an indoor activity? Outdoor? Do we have to go somewhere, right? Simple icons. The next one, energy level. Is it very low energy? Their kids are going to listen to me. Medium, low energy. We're going to do a craft. Skilled crafts, high energy, very high energy. So what is the energy level? So that might play into where are we going to be meeting? What are we going to be able to do? Supplies. I don't need any supplies all the way to above average. I gotta do a lot of planning. So maybe if I have 30 minutes, maybe I need something that has no supplies because I don't have time. And then prep time. That sort of plays into that. No prep time needed. Out of the box, I can run with it, or I really need to plan. So you'll have a choice, and you'll see the icons, and you'll be able to say, I have time to plan. I'm going to do this one, or I don't. I'm going to do this one, or ideally you will have planned things out further, and you can choose. Well, we did a simple one last time. Let's make this one a little bit more worthwhile. So and then when you look at those, then it'll take you all the way to the activity, and we'll snapshot of the activity, supply list, directions, any additional resources, some videos that are baked in. So the folks at National that are building all these websites are furiously trying to meet a deadline in June 1, I'm sure. And so I don't know. They said it's like 1,300 separate websites, or separate landing pages and such, something like that. But so I'm pretty excited about this and what that brings. I'm a little bummed. I don't have any visibility on this. I have the same as you. When it goes public, I'll be able to look at it. So I haven't seen all the activities. My general thoughts are that a lot of the activities were pretty good as written. They haven't completely redesigned and rewritten the Cub Scout program. They've kind of repackaged it and streamlined it. So the activities that were there will probably be there. They probably come up with some new stuff or streamline some things. And then they've kind of aligned those directly to requirements. Any questions on any of that? All right, some of the rollout. This was months of rollout, but June is coming. It's all going to go live on June 1. So the only thing that isn't out there is literally what the Den Leader resources look like in activities. So, has anybody ever sat in on one of the Cub Chat lives? Yep, a few of you. All right, they're pretty good. But check those out. Fridays at 2 p.m. Central. Seeing that.
They have them after. They're recorded, right?
They all land on YouTube, and you can watch them later. I don't think I've watched any live, but I certainly watched them after the fact. They've been posting program updates. The last thing to come is literally Den Leader resources. Here's a link tree to all the updates, program updates. So, anybody learned anything in that?
I learned that there was Cub Chats.
There's Cub Chats, yeah. National does, they do those every week, yeah, right. And they have various different topics and things, so it's a nice thing to have. Anybody have questions about the new Cub program?
So you mentioned the Bobcat's the first one they have to earn at each rank.
Yep.
If they're at summer camp and earning other requirements though, can they still do that, or do they still do Bobcat first?
So Bobcat is the first required adventure that they earn at each rank. So
Could they still earn another one while they're at summer camp?
well, it's the first required one. So there's plenty of electives you can work on.
Well, if they're only required ones too. That's what I'm saying. Is there anything they can do?
There's not an order to them.
That's the question. Is there an order?
There is not an order other than Bobcat is meant to be that first.
But that could be still in September, and they earn other ones in the summer, right?
Yeah, there's plenty of electives that are summer focused. There aren't. They could potentially earn some required ones in the summer, but that is not the intent. But there aren't that many that are specifically. There's an outdoors one, right? But even that doesn't have camping other than AOL. So. And then, so Danson is passing around something. Just in taking a look at, and I'll talk a little bit more about future Den in the Box. We've put together a suggested order of adventures for each rank to kind of take a little of the workload off of you at the planning level. Use it, don't use it, tweak it, however you want to, whatever you want to do. What this is a suggested by month order of adventures, and they line up across the grades. They line up across the ranks. And so in January, all your scouts are working on the personal fitness thing or something like that. So, if you have a need to align your adventures across grades, not everybody does, but if you do, I think it's nice, and it also sort of helps you with a pack outing that might be adventure focused. So, but take a look at that. Enjoy. There's also a sample calendar on the back. We've got a digital version that we'll share with you, so you can edit that. It sort of resembles a lot of our school district calendars in formatting to share with you. So, and then that's that. But I'm going to pass this off to someone else, and Marie is going to come up here and maybe introduce somebody. But thank you very much.
Okay, y'all. So my name's Marie. I'm one of the district executives here. I work for the South area as well as West Cliff, Salada, Buena Vista, and also going to be a representative for the North for the time being. So if you are in the North, you'll get my contact information before you leave. Our next speaker is going to be Miss Tiffany. She is with PAC 84. She's their committee chair, and she's going to talk about calendar planning and meeting and getting your calendar set and everything along those lines. So she's passing something out real quick here, and then she'll be up here to talk about that. And then,
Oh, that is really good. Putting not on the right place. Oh. Okay. That's fine. There's the whoever's there.
yes.
Did everybody get one? You missed one?
If not, we'll have these available online as well. So we will definitely get them for you as long online as well. And we have a clicker for you if you want to click through as well, or I can click for you.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Tiffany. I'm from PAC 84 Committee Chair. So I'll just be going through how we plan throughout the year for the next calendar year. Kind of example of how our PAC does it. Obviously, everybody can adjust to what's good, but what's standard for every PAC, okay? So basically, we go by the school calendar year and the council calendar. There's a charter organization that we normally meet at. So, for example, a school, church, we meet at Freedom Elementary. We typically meet at an hour, so it goes from 6:30 to 7:30. If you want to go ahead and then normally we'll have 1 to 2 den meetings. We'll meet as a PAC. We'll have one PAC meeting, and then the den meetings will kind of break out into our dens, work on our adventures, and then we'll have one Zoom meeting a month. Okay, where all the leaders get together with the parents and kind of plan. Go ahead and click next. Point leader. So this is going to be, for example, Pinewood Derby. Who's going to be in charge of that? So we kind of get together and say, okay, who wants to be in charge of, helping with the cars? Who wants to be in charge of, running the timer, for example, whatever, and if any parents want to help out in that event too. So go ahead and click next. So these are just examples of awards that unit leaders can take advantage of, scouts and adults. When it comes to planning, the key 3 is going to be most important. So that'd be me, committee chair, unit leader, so Cub Masters, for example, and then any chartered organization representatives would be key 3. And of course, if any parents wanted to help out with any hikes or anything like that. Go ahead and click next. So let's see here. We kind of talked about that. We might have a summer leader barbecue. I don't have an example of the summer schedule because it's kind of up in the air right now, but let's see here. I think we covered that. Okay, go ahead. All right, so I talked about the key 3, committee members, and then of course leaders and parents that want to help out throughout that. So Obviously, in September, we have, the PAC meeting in September would be like the Bobcat. October, Halloween would, fall on a Thursday, so we have to adjust, you'll just have to adjust around holidays. So for example, we normally like to do a pumpkin carving right before Halloween, but since it's on Thursday, we'll see if the school is, we can do it on a Wednesday. So we just have to connect with the school and say, hey, is it okay if we meet on Wednesday instead of Thursday? Let's see what else. So popcorn, starts in August, September and October is when we'll start with the popcorn, okay? And then we'll normally in November, have the, popcorn celebration awards in November, okay? Let's see. December, we'll have a holiday meeting, so we always have a PAC meeting once a month every year, okay? Let's see, January, Blue and Gold, Pinewood Derby in February, and then not a lot happening in March because of spring break, so we'll just have a pretty much one day meeting, one Zoom meeting, and then we'll have a PAC meeting. Let me see here. I want to make sure I'm not missing. Go ahead. As you can see on the calendar, we like to color code things, which makes it easy to determine what's PAC, what's Den. We normally, after the Zoom meetings, we'll have the council at 7, council meeting at 7 right after the Zoom meeting. So anybody can attend that for leaders. Let me see here. Scout book. So we send out reminders in advance so we know what's happening. So that will be helpful. So that can be 1 week out, 2 days, or 2 hours out, depending on what's going on. Let's see here. We'll pass out the calendars to everybody so they know what's going on. If they have any questions, we can answer those as well. Go ahead and push next. So camping trips, we typically like to do one hike a month. So we'll kind of help plan that. And then again, if parents want to help with that, we'll be able to come together and see who wants to help out. So we want to plan these well in advance. So we'll kind of see who wants to help out, plan those, and then same with the hikes as well. If it's not on a holiday, of course. Go ahead and click on next. We went over has to, go with the school and council calendar. Pinewood Derby is always going to be in the colder months, so that'd be beginning of the year. And then, of course, crossovers is what we talked about earlier, and that would be in February or March. So go ahead and click next. All right, so this is real important too. So we want to make sure 70 to 80% we're repeating for the same activities. We tend to like to have the same activities to make it easier, and then the rest of the time, which is 20 to 30%, we can be flexible, just see what we want to do, trading out and mixing it up a little bit, I would say. And then this is talking about any other activities, Bobcat Boot Camp, Outdoor Extravaganza, STEM night, campfire program. So those are just extra activities there. If they don't want to be working in the den, if they want to do it, work together somewhere else. Go ahead. So leaders can go to University of Scouting, Roundtable, Blue, anything of that sort, kind of work in the schedule as well. Just see what, kind of adjust the den meeting to anything like that around those events. And then PAC meetings, we want to make sure before we have the meetings, who's going to do flags, kind of adjust and plan for those events. If there's going to be any songs or anything like that. So, go ahead. Summer calendar, again, that's up in the air. We have something, I just didn't get it printed out because it's we're kind of figuring out the dates there. Those are just examples in general about the calendar. Go ahead. Okay, I think you covered everything. Sorry, I'm new, but I just went over the basics. So thank you for. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
I'm not very familiar with Scoutbook.
Oh yeah, so.
Can you put your entire annual calendar in Scoutbook?
Yes.
Okay. I just saw where you put reminders and meetings and. What was that?
It's a lot.
Oh, is it?
It will take time to
Yeah.
do it.
Coming on that, you don't want to go too far out. As you get new scouts, you gotta add a new event.
Okay,
So I could do like a month or two in advance, but not the whole year.
okay.
But better for that, like print a calendar to your family, go to, so you can run their own calendar. Or whenever you have a new scout come in, you gotta add all those events you already created.
Yeah.
It just irritating after.
Kind of tedious, yeah.
It's a lot of work. And it's
Awesome. Well,
crazy system.
perfect. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you. And we'll have a slideshow for the board wants a slideshow.
Yep. So yeah, all of our resources that we have on here today will be available. We'll send them out and have them on our webpage so you guys can all have the access to them. Especially like the printouts and everything too. We'll have all of those available for you guys. Tiffany, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming out here. Our next individual is going to be Christina Arnold. She is with Troop 1 to talk about adult and youth recruitment. She has very many years of experience as her kids have been in Scouts for a while as well. So, yay!
Okay, so as Marie said, I'm Christina Arnold. My husband is Mark Arnold, and we do it as a team. So we have two boys. They're both at troop level now. We just moved here from Washington State. So if you guys are doing stuff here already, awesome. This is just experience from there because we're just now getting into this council. So if you guys are doing the stuff that I recommend or have done, great. I'm very big on recruiting. During COVID, a lot of packs, well, we weren't at troop level, but packs folded. We recruited 25 scouts during COVID, and our pack grew tremendously, and we were able to keep those kids after COVID. So I think that's part of the reason why we've been asked to talk about recruiting. I don't know what button to push. I could do scouts, but I'm not. I am not tech savvy. What am I pushing? Oh, arrow button to go to the next one. Okay. All right. So marketing, I think the biggest thing for marketing is I think BSA as a whole has done amazing, but I think at pack level and troop level, we can improve. QR codes have been a lifesaver. I'm a believer if you can slap a label on something, slap a label on it. If you are doing a carnival for a school or in your community and you're passing out candy, get Avery labels, put your pack information on there, put a QR code on there. Everyone's gonna look at that candy. They might throw it away, but maybe 10 people look at it and be like, oh, what's Scouts? They're gonna look at it. If your Scouts get the Boys Life magazine, every month at a pack meeting, I ask them to return them back to me after they've read them. Guess what? I slap a label on it. Now that's a prize instead of a candy at a carnival. You can leave them at doctor's offices. You can leave them everywhere. You just slap your label on it. So if the label can go on something, it's a great way to market. BSA has, where we can get banners and stuff like that. We took it to the next level and created our own banner for our pack. And we put a QR code, and that took them to our website that they knew that this is our pack. They can get information from there. That's how they can contact us. So anytime, QR code, slap a label on something, it's just a great way to market. Also, we all have sweatshirts, clothes, we're human billboards. Like, it's a great way to get people to see things. People ask questions, kids can wear stuff to school. I don't know about troop level kids. If we could figure out how to get them to promote scouting more and not kind of be embarrassed, they shouldn't be embarrassed to be a scout. I don't know how we can get teenagers to market scouting, but half the time they don't want to wear scouting stuff. So if we can figure that out, I think that would be good. Also, I'm a big firm believer if we are at grocery stores asking the community to buy popcorn or whatever we're selling and support our scouts, then we should be giving back to the community. That's another great way for us to be promoting scouts. Also, have flyers. Someone's buying popcorn, hand them out a flyer, invite them to your pack meeting. Just however we can invite people. We were doing an event and we had somebody come to our table from Tennessee and they're like, well, we live in Tennessee. And I'm like,
You can go on here, type in your zip code, and it'll tell you what's in your surroundings. They're like, what? So just talking to people, and because people don't know how to find scouting. On that note, on beascouting.org, make sure your guys' information is up to date. Whoever the phone number is to communicate, to contact, whoever the email is. A personal story, when we first joined scouting, we called 6 different packs. Nobody returned our phone calls. We finally found one pack. They returned our phone call. We walked in, and here's the other thing, be welcoming, be helpful. We walked in, the adults took us to the side. 2 older scouts took my son to the side, gave him a piece of rope. He is a lifer star right now. Sorry. He's a star, let me tell you. At first grade, he got this piece of rope. They taught him how to tie knots that very first night of us joining. He's a star. He still carries that piece of rope around with him. He remembers that. So be approachable, be kind. Like, you want them to join. Like, I don't care if you don't join this pack. We'll find you another pack that works. You just have to you have to communicate. And if people are calling you, return phone calls. I have noticed, I think that was the biggest thing for us was everybody's just as quick to email or to text. Having that conversation with them, people were more likely to join. And check your leads, because if you're not, then they just go back into the system and it's a whole different, it's just a mess. So check your leads, communicate with people, and upsell your program. And then, like Tiffany was saying, you guys have a calendar. Tell them, hey, we have these next couple events coming. That's how we keep people coming in. They want to know, well, I don't know what we're doing in 2 weeks. They're not going to want to join scouting. Like, if they have all the information, parents are so busy, give them all the information. People are more likely to join, to keep coming because they know what's going on. Again, the retention, keeping them happy by having a calendar, giving them updates. If we don't tell people what's going on, they're not going to want to, we're busy, there's sports, there's this, we're always competing with something. But if we can give stuff, then we have people showing up and helping and being there. And the kids are excited too. Event booths, paper flyers. Also, like I said, find stuff in your community. I don't know if it happens here, but in Washington, they had it. You guys have like National Night Out. It's like always that first Monday, first Tuesday of August. Does anybody know what National Night Out is? No? So apparently it's a national event, which is so crazy because I didn't know about it either. So it's a way to get out in your community, and people are organizing like neighborhood watch parties, and it's to get you out of your house and not in front of a TV and not in this. And so a lot of cities are putting on events and stuff. It's a free event. Hey, I'm with Scouts. Can I set up a booth? You just want to get out there in the community, however you can do that. If your town has a parade, see how you can get in that parade. Again, if you're passing out candy at a parade, slap a label on it. Just however you can, I don't know, I guess there's what do we have by us? It's a big thing that's coming up in downtown by our house. Territorial days. See, I'm new here, I don't know all the places, but see how you guys can get into events. And here's the thing, think about, like, when you guys also are planning your calendar for a year, you have your budget, maybe make a budget line for recruiting. Maybe a place wants you to pay $50. Okay, great, we paid $50. We also just got 8 scouts. That $50 was worth it. So maybe putting that in your guys' budget so you can have recruiting. Yeah, and word of the mouth. You know, like I said, the scouts, you know, oh, I don't know if you guys do this here, and nobody does this anymore. Remember when we were kids, we would have like our little paper invites and we would go around giving to classmates and pass out for birthday invitations. You can create one for your guys' join night. Give each kid in the pack 6 of them and say, hey, pass them out to your friends at school. It has the information for that join night. You know, I don't know. What do you mean by for uniforms though? I guess wearing uniforms around being like Class A. You have all the cool summer, Class A stuff, wearing that to school, wearing it, out. We have a family cabin in Stanley, Idaho. We went on a boat tour and my husband was wearing his wood badge jacket and the guy was like, hey, are you Scouts? Like, Scouts is out there. It's just people don't always talk about it. And so, like I said, we're a walking billboard. And I think just, like I said, whether it's your pack or troop or not, just get a kid in scouting. So, yeah. Next, event booths, sticker flyer, uniform. There's always, I don't, like I said, I'm new here, so I don't know when all your guys' packs have joy nights and stuff.
This is our pack.
Okay.
So Beach Star is our District 12 school flyer system,
Mhm.
so we send out stuff for there. We've done, Randy, our committee chair, she's done a lot of our programs, like 75 kids.
Okay.
And it's gone up from like 40, so we've had a lot of growth in the past 2 years. We do event booths, like we've done a booth at the Switchbacks game, we've done some other, and that's not a high rate of how we find our scouts. I know a lot of scouts will move in with the military and that's one way we find them.
Yeah.
We've had other scouts come from other packs
Mhm.
who maybe wanted a bigger pack. And we've had other scouts leave who wanted smaller packs.
Right.
I know Randy's kids, they do wear their uniforms to school as well.
Mhm.
And another big one is our word of mouth. We have a lot of kids who will bring friends in. We have a lot of siblings who join. That's a lot of how we've grown
Yeah.
with our pack.
So a question on that. So you mentioned military. I'm prior military too, but does the council put in advertisement with like the Airman Family Readiness Center for their newcomers packages? Or, Fort Carson, I don't know what.
We have in the past. I have not been.
We're working
Yeah,
about getting that done.
Okay.
That has stepped away just a little bit, but we are trying to work on getting that done as
Okay.
well in the packages. And then like when Christina's talking about flyers and like the invitation cards, we have the BSA Brand Center that has access to all BSA branded flyers, bookmarks, the posters. If you guys need any of that printing done, you can contact your DE directly. We are able to print off all of those. They're called peer-to-peer cards. They're little business cards with the Joint Scout Night information on them. We can get all of that ready for you. We do ask for about 48 hours before pickup because we have quite a few of you guys asking for it. We do have one very large printer, but sometimes I monopolize it a lot. So we try to be mindful of that. But you can always contact us and we'll be more than happy to help with the flyers. And Randy made this slide deck for us. It's Randy's. She knows I'm using it because she's at Wood Badge today. So Christina was kind enough to jump in and help as well because she's got a lot of experience. Yes, sir.
You said contact who directly?
Your district executive. What area are you in?
Woodland Park?
Woodland Park High. It's me. You get my card with you. Yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna mention for Join Scout Night, we partnered with Fred at Home Depot, and they give us the leftover Home Depot kits that they don't use. And so our first Join Night, very engaging. We bring in the hammers or whatever, and the kids all make something to take home while we're talking to the parents, and that has been a very productive and engaging event that has built us excitement.
Yeah. One of the other things, and now it totally won't align with this, while the parents are getting talked to, we would take the kids off to the side and congratulations, you showed up to your first meeting and you just earned Bobcat. And they're like, what? And then they sign up, they come to that very first pack meeting and they got that award. Well, it's gonna be a little bit different now, but just getting the kids excited, because sitting here with it, what if 20 kids show up and we're just sitting here talking? It's not fun. So having, a kit or something fun for them to do, kind of showing them what scouting is gonna look like at these pack meetings, at these den meetings, that will help because it gets them excited. Another thing, when I do events and I set up a table, I went out and purchased books, so people can look through them. So the kids and the parents know what they're getting into, so they can see it. They're like, I get this book, yeah, and this is what's gonna happen. We've also, like I've tied up the neckerchiefs at the top, and I'm like, this is part of your uniform, because they want to know what they're gonna get. They want to know what they're gonna do. We have scouts that never collect their Pinewood Derby cards at the end, or they just don't want them. I lay them out on the table for display. Grandparents and dads walk by, I do that as a scout. The kids are like, well, I want to do it. It's just a great way to entice them in. We can't just have a plain, boring table. Like, you just want to, have things out there so they can see. And again, it's all that marketing, because people want instant gratification. Everybody does. And so seeing what they can get, and having scouts that are working those booths and in uniforms, or they're out walking and they're, hey, come check out scouts, or here's a flyer for our next pack meeting. Again, it's just all that marketing. And I mean, yes, we're putting our kids to work, but they should be proud and support the program as well.
And if you do have a joint night and that type of thing that's coming up, or an open house, again, contact your district executive, because we do have printables that we can print out. Like, I just did a whole bunch for one of our pack leaders. She's doing something at the soccer house, because there was an event today at the soccer house. So we'd be more than happy to get whatever supplies you guys need. We do have a bag that does have books in it and some Pinewood Derby cards that I would have no problems with if you guys called and said, hey, can we borrow this? If you do, as long as, it comes back within a reasonable time so the next person can use it too. We're very happy to support and uplift your guys' units however we can.
Another cool thing, because I saw the pictures and the lions and the tiger, we printed out tons of coloring sheets, because kids just like to stop at the booths and color, and guess what? They take it home. We put our information on it. Oh, cool, parents look at it. Sometimes half the stuff goes in the trash, like I throw things away. But somebody might look at it and it's just that one person, Also with marketing, this is something that we did, and I had mentioned it for keeping your Be a Scout or information up to date, is we created a Google phone number. I moved away from our pack last year. My information, my personal phone number was on that. Half the time people don't go and update things. So what we did, plus my phone number was all around town, and that was fine. But some people don't want that. So we created a Google phone number, and it was associated to our pack email. And so then that phone number went on all of our paperwork, and it was linked to both my husband's and my phones. Both of our phones would ring at the same time. I'm like, okay, you got this, whatever. But when you leave, that phone number is attached to your pack, and then you can roll it over to someone else's new phone number. And it's never like, because a lot of times I've heard, I haven't been with the pack for 6 months. I don't know who's in charge. Okay, well, now you just lost people. And so if you have that number and it stays with your pack, it's a great way to keep it rolling over. And it's free, it's easy to do. We haven't been in Washington for almost 9 months, and I still get phone calls. And I'm not just like, well, I don't live there anymore. I'm like, no, let me find out who I can contact you with. Like, we should all, like, Scout is friendly. We should be helping no matter what. Don't take on too much. I don't even care from the back. My goodness.
It's only an hour a week.
Right.
Per kid.
Per kid. But we all do take on too much, because we care about the program, we care about the kids, but we do get burnt out. And so if we have events like, I can't do this event, but here's my box of all the stuff that I use, it's just making it easier, because like sometimes getting volunteers is not easy. We know that. But asking for help, putting out that, like a parent survey thing, like, what are you good at? Can you commit to one event for helping? If your kid's already there, help, which you guys already know all this. It's just the parents that don't get that. But it's just keeping everything updated. So if you have that calendar and you're like, hey, these are our next 3 events, we've put out sign-up sheets on the table, And it's like, hey, please go sign up. You know, the biggest thing is they also want reminders. So if they sign up to help something, don't think that they're gonna remember that they put it in their calendar. Send out an email, hey, you signed up for this event, it's happening, blah, blah, blah. Keep your website updated, Facebook, Instagram, if you guys do that. My biggest thing, if you guys have Facebook or Instagram, make sure you have permission from parents to be posting kids. Instagram is not so much private, but Facebook page is. You guys can create it to where it's private, and then you can set up a question and say, who is your scout? And then they have to answer who their scout is, and then they can join that page. We kept it to, we didn't have aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandpas. It was mom and dad. And then they can take photos from there. So just be careful, you know, putting tons of information out there on Facebook, but it's a great way. Also, if you have all the family joining and you're posting pictures and people aren't coming to the events and they're like, oh, you guys went fishing. Oh, you did that. Oh, well, we missed out on that. And they see these cool pictures. You might start getting more people attending your guys' events. I'm going to treat it like a business, you know, yeah, happy Customers Day, happy Parents Day, happy Kids Day. It's sad that we have to think it like that, but with so many different programs and things going out, we want to keep them active and staying, and parents up to date and whatnot. Follow up with leads, invite them to try meetings, any meeting. This is how we ran it with our pack in Washington. We always let them come check out one event, maybe two. So like come check out a den meeting and check out our pack meeting. Anything after that, you had to sign up and join, mostly because one, we're supplying the supplies and insurance purposes. We can't have a scout coming and people coming for 5, 6, 7 things and they're not signed up. Well, they're being a scout, they should be signed up and registered. Communicate. Communication is key to any relationship. So we probably should over communicate, but still then parents don't listen, don't pay attention, but at least you knew you did your part. All right, so I guess questions and sharing time. What is something that your pack or troop, I guess I didn't really touch on troop. Troop is a lot. Is anybody here troop or is it pack here? Your troop? So.
And
pack. Troop is
anything else you want.
Yeah, troop is way different than pack level. Because like where we have all these cute like Home Depot kits and coloring pages and Pinewood Derby, and we're doing all these things with the kids. We're telling the kids what to do. We're providing this stuff for them. At troop level, we don't get to do that. They're in charge. They're doing the planning. We're there to facilitate and make sure that they're safe and these things are getting done. But so it's a little bit harder to get like adult participation. But like when the scouts have a board of review, so for those that don't know, like how the scouts are getting, your cubs are getting all those things signed off. The troop level kind of has the same thing, and at the end they have to have their scoutmaster check it, then they come see a board of 3 people. Well, if we don't have 3 people to do that board review, guess what? That scout is not getting ranked. So we need parents to volunteer. So it's a little bit more tricky. I haven't quite figured out how to do that, except for you don't help, then your scout doesn't advance, and then you're holding your scout back, and that's not cool. So we kind of use that tactic a little bit. Maybe we could do it better. I don't know. But we also have to have the 2 deep leadership. And if we don't, then guess what? We're not going camping. We're not going camping. We're not going hiking. So we do need the parents to be volunteering. And a lot of times, 9 out of 10 times, it's always the same people. But we want the kids to succeed. So, you know, we do it. All right. Any questions or like something maybe you want to start or something you guys have found that is successful? Anything that you've noticed that maybe you should avoid?
So does anybody not know what Be a Scout is?
I don't know. I mean, I took it as a note, figured that what is BeAScout.org?
BeAScout.org is a website that lists all the units You can punch in what kind of program you look for, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, venturing troop. You put in your zip code and it shows you the units in your area.
Yeah.
The key 3 of your unit can update that pin through their MyDot Scouting account. The key 3 would be the charter board rep, committee chair, or Cub master. They all have access to updated information, which should get updated, whenever there's a changeover in leadership. You can also set your pin on there. It's actually a GPS pin of where your meetings are, so people actually can locate where you'll be.
Yeah. So it would have your pack number, who your target org is, who the main person for contact is. It gives like a little blurb, hi, we're a boy and girl pack. We have 50 scouts and we meet Tuesdays from 6:30 to 7:30. Because people want to know those things. And then they can email you, they can call you, and that's where I was saying for it to be updated.
Can I add on to the Be a Scout thing? So the Be a Scout is the public landing page for Scout.
Okay.
If you are not a Scout, that is where you are driven when you search Scouting near me on Google or something like that. The BSA has gone through all of that. The site itself, Be a Scout as a concept, is about 12 years old. It's not brand new, but it is up to units to update that pin. That's also where you can turn on your online applications and stuff like that. So, but just know that it is printed on everything that goes out to the public from a national marketing aspect. That is where the public is sent to find Scouting.
If anybody asks you, I want to do Scouting, but they're not around you, send to that website, they can find your units near.
National.
Well, and to build on that, so while your contact information and contact phone numbers down on your Be a Scout, there's a handy dandy little request more information button that's also on there. So this is more for the key 3, but there is a invitation manager inside My.Scouting. That anytime somebody requests more information, it'll ask them to fill out their name, their phone number, and some contact information. And whenever somebody uses that button, it shows up as a new invite in your invitation manager. So that's someplace that's handy for you to keep track of those people who are navigating to your specific pin and requesting more information. So if you're not familiar with that, get with your dean. We'd love to show you how that functions. It's a great way to keep track of some of those leads and those parents that are actually interacting with your Be a Scout pin.
I was just going to say, I'm a parent. I'm not a den leader. I'm not any of those things. I'm here on behalf of them.
Well, thank you.
I found Scouting through that, but it was rather difficult because I put in my zip code of where I lived, and it brought up one troop in my town because it is very zip code dependent.
Where are you from?
Pueblo.
Okay.
So the troop that I originally found met at 3:00 on Monday. I was like, I can't do this. And so I then had to figure out how to find, I had to type in every zip code in my town to figure out which one we could go to, which was really, really, I almost gave up because I was like, there's no other Boy Scout troop. And then I started Googling and I found Facebook pages. But then I had to dive into how do I get a hold of these people, and then had to go in and find zip codes.
So there's a distance slider
on the Pueblo one. It didn't work.
Okay.
Only showed
it is possible the other units just don't have their pins turned on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or that they
Which
have
is
zip
why
codes
we
on their
try to
pins.
tell people to turn on their pins and activate them.
Yeah. So it's very
important.
It is very important. So whoever your key 3 is, and like they just said, go to your DE and they can help you. One of the other, so it was just mentioned, you can turn on the join now and then your application. It will charge those parents right then and there all the BSA fees. If your pack or troop has additional fees, please write that up in your little blurb that say there may be additional fees, because we've had so many people go and pay whatever, I don't even know our dues, $100. And then they join us and then we're like, oh, well, we have $65 for a sub. Parents get so mad. So there's that communication thing, is over communicating. So if your pack does an additional fee on top of what national and all those are, please put that in there, because sometimes that deters people away a lot of times when they're like, wait a minute, we just already paid. What do you mean I have to pay more? So just make sure you put that on there too. So. any questions or any things that you guys do or other suggestions? Like, I love being out there in the public. So here's the funny thing, I can come up here and talk, I can go out and recruit, and I'm troop level, but it scares the daylights out of me to do merit badges. Don't know why. Merit badges is like how you guys have the electives in the back for the Cub Scouts. We, the boys, have the troop level has merit badges, and there's the Eagle ones that you have to earn so you can, make Eagle. Don't know why, but I love recruiting. I love talking to parents. I love seeing these kids that never heard about this program get excited. Like, I really miss doing stuff at Cub Scout level. Well, not that I don't love the troop level kids, but they're independent, and that's what we teach them at Cub Scout level, so they can get to that level. And it's a neat thing to see the progression, but I do miss working with the littles and all that. So, any questions or?
How do you handle like mid-season recruits?
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of touched on like the dues. So it seems like you'll have like a recruiting season, and that window kind of closes, and then mid-school year, mid-scout year, you got somebody that says they're interested. How do you maybe bring them in as far as like, well, we're about halfway through the requirements or achievements,
right? And
then here's what you owe for, can you prorate dues?
So national and all those dues are not prorated. You could prorate your dues for your pack. What we did is communicate. I'm very upfront with my scouts. They can still continue to keep working, but if they haven't met all those requirements, then they're not going to earn that rank. Then they can still come over to the crossover and then go to the next rank. But if they are really gung-ho, I will sit down with you and we will work and get all of those requirements done and get it done. But as a parent and a scout, you have to be committed. I'm not going to chase you down, but if you want to earn that patch or that rank, this is what you have to do. If you're okay with not earning it and you just want to continue working right now and then move on, then you can do that. I've been out of Cub Scouts for a year, but seeing this, it's going to be so much easier. Like there's things that you have to do with your pack and as your den, but hey, if it said do X, Y, and Z, here's your homework, bring it back to me, I'll sign you off. Like if they really want it, and their parents want them with it, they will do it. So you just have to be willing. It's more work for us as leaders to do it. But again, we want to set up the kids to succeed. I never want to be like, well, sorry, you didn't join us 6 months ago. You don't get a chance.
So for our den, we just went through this because we had about 5 kids join. We're basically doing a lot of them again. Where sometimes we'll do an elective and then we'll pull a small group, which includes also the kids who've been there all year. Who've missed stuff. And we're doing some of these over again. So like we're doing Game and Tigers play this week for a second time. But everyone's doing it because it's fun. So, like Tiger Bites and Bobcat, we did pull those groups aside, and one of our den leaders did it with them. But they still have stuff to do at home because it's like we've already done this twice.
Yeah. And one of the other things is that the next topic is like the linkage between packs and troops. And I don't know if a lot of you know, but you can get a den chief from the troop level. And they will come and work with your pack and work with your den, and you can have them because they're working on leadership. So them coming over and working with the Cubs, they can get it done. So they could be off to the side working with that new scout while you guys are working with other people. Like they have requirements that they have to get done. And I don't know if that's going to be a part of the conversation, but if you have a troop that you're linked with, you can have that. You can it's really up to the older scouts if they want to do that. That's the hard part because they're in charge of their own journey. We can't be like, well, you're a den chief and you're showing up over here. They have to do that. So like, if we can figure out how to get more of the older scouts to help the younger, that would be helpful. But that would help with those scouts coming in mid-year and getting help. And then it's not always just on the den leader.
And there's no limit on how many den chiefs you can have. So you guys are a very large unit. So you can have one for each den, or if it's a smaller unit, you can have one den chief. So they're really beneficial and really helpful with, facilitating, trying to catch a kiddo up or anything like that. And the great thing is that National did move from it being like, oh, we're only doing recharter like in January, but now it's, if I join in May, then I don't have to pay again until May. So it's May to May, or February to February for their dues. So that's one thing that's really nice for the parents as well.
Yeah, and I don't know, just because this is how my brain thinks, I've heard people like, oh my gosh, scouting is so expensive. I have taken football and I have taken baseball, and I have priced out everything for it. Scouting is still by far the cheapest organization that a scout can join every year. Now it gets more expensive for things when you're adding stuff on, like camping gear, but that stuff lasts for a while. And so that's a good thing for recruiting when people ask for what the cost comparison is. Like, mouth guards, protecting guard, like it's well over $300, $500. And then God forbid you're traveling. Now you got hotels and entry fees. Great, you can go to summer camp and guess what? You can fundraise and never pay a dime. That doesn't happen in other organizations. So when you're recruiting and your parents are asking those questions, that's a good thing just to be aware of as well. Other stuff is very, very expensive. All right, any other questions? Anything else? I think that was the last slide, right?
Yeah.
Yay!
There's a hand. Thank you, Christina. And then, next up is going to be Mr. David Durkee. He is going to talk about troop linkages and connecting maybe your packs with a troop in your area.
Right, you'll notice that subtle difference. I'm David Durkee. For the last 2 years, I've served as Northern Colorado Springs District Executive. Prior to coming into that position, I served 4 years as the Cub Master for Pack 457 over in Brussels, Belgium. And that's actually the photo that we're going to have up here. Some of you saw it during the break and wondered what it was. We're going to talk today exactly about this. So we have troop pack connections. This is the troop that we had over there that was getting ready to prepare a ceremony for our Cub Scouts. I feel really strongly about this because I think this is the lifeblood of Scouts. I'll jump in here. Some of the best words of advice that I got when I came into the seat as a Cub Master were from the former Cub Master. Essentially, we scout on Sundays. Now in Brussels, what that meant is they didn't have to compete with football. We had it on Sunday afternoon. But what it was everything. Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA for boys and girls, and the crew, everything hit Sunday afternoon. And what does that mean for your families? Families can scout, right? Okay, some rough statistics from our council. I don't know how many of you know these. Currently, we have 40 packs. They just graduated 140 AOLs to 70 troops. That is not the way the pyramid is supposed to look, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the writing on the wall with a pyramid like that is exactly what's happening in most of the developed world. You don't have enough babies to support the people who are up here, right? So Cub Scouts is critical. Merging packs. I had a visit earlier with the gentleman from, it's Pack 20 up in Woodland Park. We do not merge packs. There is a terrible disease called merging packs. What merging packs means is that we lose chartered orgs. Okay, as soon as we lose a chartering org, Cub Scouts is dying because that is probably the hardest thing right now for us to get for our packs. Does that make sense? A place to meet is a difficult thing. Okay, so this is a half a joke, half a reflection. We're going to talk about it at the end. I want to park it kind of in your mind right now. You all know the joke. How many does it take to turn a light? How many people does it? Whatever, to change a light bulb. We're going to think how many Cub Scouts, how many Scouts BSA, how many Scouters does it take to change this light bulb, and how long does it take to change them? Think about it. Okay. Right now, we're in a very special season this time of year. That season is the AOL season. It started back in February. It's going to close out sometime around May. That's when our Cub Scouts move over to Scouts BSA. Now, there's a very specific reason why I put that in the slide at this point. That is because many people, for their Cub Scout pack relations, that is the relationship. Seems really transactional, doesn't it? You have Cub Scouts, AOLs, they need to go someplace. A troop needs some Cub Scouts, AOLs, they take them. Not a lot to it, is it? Where are our families in that equation? Not really in the equation. Packs right now have a huge problem. What's that? Where are your adult leaders? If you have a transactional relationship like that, you are losing a chance to get a leader. You are losing a chance for an adult to participate. And when those adults leave with those AOLs, they leave. Yeah? There is no relationship. The goal is better scouting. What do we want from that? We want a better program. We want a better experience, both for our scouts and our scouters. Is it just a zombie apocalypse? Now I put that up because that's Troop 77, Troop 78, and 79. Their Weeblos weekend in the fall, which I want all of you to start incorporating and thinking with the new Cub Scout program and Scouts BSA, and that requirement that your AOLs are going to have that Bobcat in their first adventure is visiting a troop or pack. What kind of fun thing can you be doing with the troops and the packs in your area to get them excited about scouting? So these guys sponsored a zombie apocalypse where literally it was triage first aid, okay, out at the B-52s at the Air Force Academy on a beautiful sunny afternoon for these kids to roll up and experience. They were wandering through the forest and doing first aid and getting their little card stamped. They were super stoked, super pumped. Okay, that's what we want, right? Now, some basics. Where are our bridges between the packs and the troops? There are some natural ones that already occur, right? Let's start with our scouts and our scouters. So we say scouts as den chiefs. What does that mean? What does it mean to have a den chief? Do you guys have den chiefs? Yeah.
It's an older troop scouter who comes down and helps with whatever's needed in Cub Scout level.
Yeah, so we have an opportunity for a scout to provide leadership, for a scout to be in a leadership position with younger scouts. We also have an opportunity that when those Cub Scouts go and visit that troop, they're like, hey, Danny, hey, Danny, hey, Danny, right? Because Danny's their den chief. Or, hey, Katie. They get there. That's their den chief, right? And that is a point of reference for them. That is an anchoring point. They know somebody. They feel comfortable. They feel connected, right? So we're trying to develop that connective tissue. Okay. We can go beyond that. Let's say that you have a recruitment night. I've seen John's son over at TCA, right? You have a scout manning a table. How powerful is that to a parent who walks up and interacts with a scout that's recruiting for Cub Scouts? They meet a youth who can stand on their own, hold their own, and explain the program. That parent's like, I want my 12-year-old to be able to do that. I want my 14-year-old to be able to be that young person, right? That is extremely powerful. So when you can have troops supporting you during those recruitment nights and having that be your outreach and explaining the program to those adults, that wins adults time and time again because they can already see the value of the program, right? They can see it in that youth. They're like, and the first question that they're going to ask the scoutmaster is, do you think that helped my son? Do you think that helped my daughter? Right? So many kids are glued to their screens, and as soon as they meet one of these youth who is outward, has the ability to stand straight and explain something clearly. So we have community events like Briarfest. I've been there. I've seen Cub Scouts and Scouts stand by side. And as soon as it is the youth that is delivering that message, it is so much more powerful. Right. So as a Northern Colorado Springs District Executive, I had to meet a lot of different units. And one of the things that you see is that I don't have to go to all the unit meetings. because I can go to some unit meetings where I can meet multiple unit leaders, right? So on a Monday night, I can roll up to Troop 78. And by going to Troop 78, I can meet the committee chair from PAC 62 and the Cub Master from PAC 80. So suddenly, in one meeting, I can see what's going on. But that also means that I'm meeting with a healthy unit. Why? Because that unit has cross-pollination of leaders. It has connections with PACs and with the troop. Does that make sense? So those parents are sitting in two different seats. And you as Cub Scout PACs want that. Why? One, because small PACs often have to pay what we call the leadership tax. And you know what the leadership tax is, right? You pay for each one of your leaders. You pay their adult registration. Unless, of course, you bring back some of those parents who are also registering with Scouts BSA because they want to be able to go on the camping trip with their kid, at which point they're a registered adult leader, and you multiple them back into your PAC. Now, why is that great? Because now you have a view of their calendar, you have a view of your calendar, and you have a parent who's invested in both, right? And that means that we have that connection. Okay, Troop 194 is a similar one. Kern comes from 194. He knows that I can roll up there. I get to meet the Corps from PAC 85, Austin. Okay, I also get to meet the Cub Master of 117. So with that, I get to go to a unit where I already have 194B, and 194B stood up 194G, a girls' troop. Why? Because they had so many sisters in the wings that weren't able to really participate in scouting because their parents had to make a choice on which night they were going to do it. Okay? And now they're going to try to pull in PAC 94 so that they can have what we call the family of scouting. And that should really be your goal. You have a charter org, you have a troop that you're working with. The best thing that you can have is that essentially you have one charter org rep who's watching out for all of you. Andy can speak to this, I think. And when you have that, you have everything in-house for your families. And that means that we are serving families with scouting. And as soon as we can do that, we're growing our community of scouting. Right. When we can share a charter org rep, or we can even share a commissioner. When you share that person, they act like a shuttle diplomat. They go between the different units. They are interested in facilitating that calendar with you. And that is an ideal situation. And Kern can recognize that. I see him nodding in the back. That's awesome. So here are some of the things I was brainstorming. I flashed it up there, but when we start thinking about some of the things that we could do with PACs and troops together, just to really quickly kind of have in your mind something that you've done with a troop as a Cub Scout PAC. What's something that you've done with a troop, or what's something that you've done that maybe, and I'm going to jump ahead of myself just a little bit here because I'm going to roll through some slides and maybe that'll give some people some ideas while we're doing this. I just want you to have some ideas in the back of your head. These are all things that a PAC might be absent, a PAC might be together with the people. Oh, we don't know that guy, do we?
Where did you get that one?
Well, so that brings up a really good point. PAC troop connections don't just happen between the youth, do they? They happen in this community. We had a University of Scouting. And as part of the University of Scouting, Andy and the Scoutmaster from 78 and 79, Rick Camberg, are standing together. That means we have those connections with one another. And that's also important. We as Scouters are looking for fellowship. This is our Scout Reach program. This is where we're providing scouting to kids who can't afford it. But at the same time, imagine how powerful that would be, like at this geology. They had a geologist come in, if there was a scout troop there, who might also be working on merit badge that's related. This is a Weeblo's AOL crossover ceremony. We can see the scouts are getting ready to go crossover. On the far side, back in the other side, you can see the troops there waiting for them. So that's one of them where we can already see that kind of connection. Next one. What is this table? This is a recruitment table. This is PAC 17. Okay. We can have scouts, Cub Scouts, and you have Lions down there at the end. This is our crossover ceremony again. PAC Packs have sometimes their own trailer. Imagine how nice it would be to have a troop quartermaster helping out with that trailer, making sure it stays organized, making sure the stuff is packed up right, making sure it's clean. How about when we set up tents with the little ones? Think that could be a good place to have a troop come out, show how to set up a tent, or at least be the rails on the fence or the rails on the track to help that make that happen. Those guys have a lot of energy. How about this? We can see that we have our Cub Scouts and our Scouts DSA, boys and girls, all out for one big event. That was an orienteering event up at the Air Force Academy. I kind of remembered to take a photo of it on the way out. Don't know why. And then it just jumped out of my. I think because I closed that up. But that gives you some ideas, starts to give you a picture. I do have one there, Brian, with the Falcons and the Air Force Academy Falconry Club. I think that was a great event. So let's cover some of these really quick and see if it'll let me get back into the presentation. So Veterans Day is a big one. You saw a flag ceremony there. All of you are related to a school. I'm sure if you've got Cub Scout age kids, they've got to be in a school. Going beyond that one step, how can you do a flag ceremony for that school? You can do it in the fall, you can do it in the spring. Principals love to have that. They love to have that, especially if they are a service-oriented school, like PAC 94 is over at Antelope Trails. And that, since they're at Antelope Trails, it's a big service school. They're all about that. The one on the Air Force Academy, they even had a special parade. Some common requirements, things like geocaching, rocketry, falconry, meet a first responder or a city council member. You can't believe the number of meetings that I've gone to with a Cub Scout pack or a troop where there was a city council member or a first responder or somebody else who needed to be done for one of those requirements. There's no reason why you couldn't have a mixed group for that. How about Scout Sunday? Bishop here in Colorado Springs holds a special mass. He invites all flavors of Scouts there. Okay. Most faiths have that recognized. If you have the charter org, that's the church, that's a great time to come together. Conservation projects. Every single one of our levels of scouting has conservation built into it. Leave no trace outdoor ethics. My 12-year-old currently is an outdoor ethics guide. There's no reason why the Cub Scouts can't be part of an Eagle Scout project, cleaning something up. A lot of your star scouts actually are sitting on that requirement and are blocked right now from advancing because they need 3 hours of conservation. And organizing something like that is so easy to do across units. We hit on this one already, the new Cub Scout program. I am all in on that. I think that that can be so much fun. And I really hope that all of you start reaching out to a unit that's in your area. If you're a pack, reach out to the troop. Try to get something on the table sooner than later. So that links into something that we're going to talk about in just a second. I think that scouts could could run an advancement weekend. We have, and I have an email that's right here from Vanston that I teed up. How many of you got this postcard in the mail? I hope all of you, if you're involved in Cub Scouts, got a copy of that postcard. This postcard is about a summer adventure. We've got range sports in Lamar. We've got a day camp up here in Colorado Springs. It's going to be at the Western Mining Museum of Industry. How about range sports at Camp Alexander, a day camp in Pueblo, family camp at Camp Alexander, and a scout night at the Rocky Mountain Valleys? How easy is that for your calendar to coordinate with a troop to say, hey, we're going to be out at the camp. We're going to be out at the Air Force Academy football game this year. Can we sit with you guys? Or organize barbecue before it or after it. You know, because one of the things you're going to discover is you need to know a couple of different points, and we're going to be getting to it in just a second. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Boom. We all know that scouting units come in different flavors, just like different faiths, right? There's a reason why people choose to be whatever flavor of religion they choose to be. It's the same with scouts. Some scouting units are going to meet twice a month. Some of them are going to meet 4 times a month. Some of them are going to be really STEM focused. Some of them are going to be outdoor focused. That's just a matter of figuring out which part of it you need to be in, yeah? And that's important because we need to make it easier for families. And the ones that meet twice a month, that's because they're busy. And the ones that meet 4 times a month, that's because they're busy with scouting. But both of them are scouting, right? Okay, I already showed you some of my pictures. I'm not sure why I decided to go the way of the wayward dodo. But let's get into this one. Know who's there at the playground. Do you guys know this analogy? Okay, so little kids at the playground typically are in the sandbox, right? The bigger kids are on the basketball court. And you also sometimes have some people over there grilling. Now, when we think about scouts, we've got Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA, and we also have our adult scouters. And all of them can be in the park. All of them can be close to you, right? But in order to meet that person who's grilling, I have to leave the basketball court, or I have to go over to the basketball court and kind of cheer them on, give them a fist bump, shake their hand, whatever it is. Be present, right? I have to break that barrier. The same with the sandbox. You can't expect the kids from the sandbox to walk over to big kids on the basketball court unless somebody holds their hands and brings them over, right? Because what if one of those big kids comes running out of the way to the same ball and goes over to the little kid? We do need to have those adults present. We do need to have them part of it. And those guys that are grilling, I'd like to go for a good steak. Yeah? They're also there. There are people, members of your community, who can be around that you can involve in this. Now, I wrote, who's in the neighborhood, 5 to 8 mile radius. We started talking about the Be a Scout pin in the last presentation. We're going to cover a little bit more here. Be a Scout lets us search very quickly packs, troops, crews, ships, and posts. Also, I want you to reflect on who's missing from your playground, who's missing from your charter org. And often that's a troop, especially a girls' troop, because if you have family scouting, where do those girls go when they finish? I can tell you we have a huge problem right now, and I would love to see somebody start a troop out at the end of Powers and Woodman. We have girls who are finishing up in Black Forest. We have people who are finishing out further east. And the closest troops for them are 194G, which is up off of Baptist Road, and 77, which meets in the summers at the Air Force Academy, and the rest of the time at the Legion. That is a long haul. Whether or not those people decide to stay in scouting, that's going to require some dedication. If there's a unit that's closer there and it's easier for those families, I guarantee you there's a better chance that they're going to stay in scouting. Now, part of me being here, we have a short URL. You know how there's tiny URL? If you type in bsa060.us/short URL, you can find out all sorts of information about how that bad boy works. Every single one of your units, if you will type in bsa060/P93, P165, P20, after that, T194B, 194G. I don't know the rest of the units off the top of my head. The units that I serve I know pretty well, but if you type them in, that will take you immediately to your Be a Scout pin. Okay, that's a shortcut for you to check out your Be a Scout pin and to share it with others. Okay? That short URL at the end, that's all the directions about how a thing works, right? If you want to get some quick directions that were shared with us from Atlanta, which is one of the mega councils, about how to manage your Be a Scout pin, I put a quick link to those. Now, why is that important? Because when people go to your Be a Scout and they type apply, they can get some automatic emails. You want a warm handshake? If you already have one of those emails set up with things like your pack dues, with how things are going to work, that's going to go automatically when somebody asks for information or when somebody signs up with you, they're already going to get a welcome email. How powerful is that? That they already get something that says, hey, welcome to Scouts. We're looking forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Or here's a share of our calendar. And units that want to give me a link to their calendar, I will volunteer to still make this happen. Okay, what this is if you have your calendar as a spreadsheet or a Google Doc or a PDF that's somewhere shared that people can get to, that's a short link. All you have to do is type in P100 calendar or T66 calendar, and you will get to their calendars. Why is that important when we talk about troop pack connections? You want alignment, right? You want those troops to be able to do things with you. You want to be able to do things with troops. Imagine that you can see 6 months into the future with what they're doing or tentatively what they want to do. And you reach out and you say, hey, I see that you're planning this weekend kind of like this with an outdoor camping up at Glen Aspen. If we were up there, could we do knots? Or you say, hey, it looks like you're going to do fall family camping. Hey, would you like to do a couple of hikes with us? Or do you need something like a game? You can coordinate. And when you're on 6 months to a year out, it's a beautiful place to be, right? If you're doing Scouts BSA, you're thinking 2 years out if you want to do high adventure like Philmont. Okay, that's all of that. Cover those guys. I want to show you one thing here. That is a you say. So this is the Be a Scout 10. This is what people will see if they go there. I do hope that you've updated it enough that we can see where you are. Yeah, a telephone number who somebody can call, an email address, right? A little blurb. Like, what are you guys doing? And this is that, I told you guys that we could do the thing. So somebody throw me out a unit that we want to see.
Pack 224.
Okay. Oh. So there's P224. Please try to use lowercase letters if you do the other things like the apply and stuff like that. Most of your units should work with capitals and lowercases when you just look up the unit for the VS Scout pin. Does that make sense? Would that be easy for somebody to find you? Like, let's say I'm a troop and I want to reach out and I want to see all the troops or units that are Cub Scout packs in my area. Well, what I could do is I could just tick here on VSScout.org. I could put in a zip code. What's a good zip code? Hit me with a zip code, somebody, please.
80863.
One more time?
80863.
80863. I don't know where that is, but that sounds good. Okay. Woodland Park. Okay, so that's back 20. What I'm going to do is I'm now going to add my Scouts troops. I'm going to add my venturing. I'm going to add my Sea Scouts, which seems really odd to have in Colorado. Okay. And then
So that means we're not connected with our troop because we only have one troop up in Teller County too.
Well, I just ticked those boxes. I haven't hit search yet.
Okay.
Okay. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to increase my radius. Okay. So I'm going to increase my radius to 20 miles. And click show results. And go up here, and it should sort by the closest one. So I have Troop 230 in Woodland Park that comes up immediately. And I've got Pack 20 up there. But then we start going down and we start seeing how far away they are. So 12 miles away, that. And we can actually go to a map view of these guys over here at the top. And this can also be helpful sometimes because sometimes it's a bit deceptive here in Colorado with the way the mountains and the roads and everything are. So sometimes what we want to do is we want to look and see. So we see these two are pretty close up there. They're hanging out together. And we can start to see the different colored dots on here. And if I'm a parent and I'm looking for a pack, and I know that I live over in Briargate and I'm close to TCA, I might find pack 93. Yeah? But if I'm a little further up, I might find pack 165. But I visit both, and I decide that I actually want to be with pack 17 all the way up in Monday. And don't ask me why parents make the decisions they make. They make them for whatever reason, right? But that's going to give you an easy way when you tick this other box right here with Scouts BSA to be able to see who are the units that are closest to you. Now, if you follow my directions using that bsa060.us/BSScoutPin, fill in all your stuff, right? That's going to take one of your key 3 right into this wonderful unit tab right here. And this is where they get to set all of the information. Now, I'm showing you the one from our Scout Reach. It has slightly limited information because it's specific to a specific elementary school, which is Pinello. Okay, not all that information is really public. It's not like a normal pack because it's run for people who normally can't be in scouting, right? Okay, so it has different kind of requirements on it. But what's important, here, we can turn it on, unit meeting address, we can put the contact name, we can put the phone number, we can put the contact email, we can put a unit website. Okay, we can put additional information. So if you have a Facebook page, this is a great place to put your Facebook page. You have a Google like kind of website or something like that that you want to share, that's a great place to put that URL. Because that then gives people an easy way of landing there. When we print these flyers, if we put that, super easy. We don't have to think about what's going to be the whole address. If you give us something like a tiny URL or a bit.ly, both of those are short URLs, but they look janky and they look suspicious. Okay, let's just be honest. You have somebody handing out flyers with those versus something that has our council's number embedded in it. Right. So this is a little punchline. Cub Scouts, Scouts, and Scouters should do a good turn daily. This light bulb, the one that you normally have at home, takes about 3 turns. So it would take any of them 3 days to actually do if they do a good turn daily. Okay, but together, they could probably do it in a mere number of minutes, right? Or even a mere minute. Thank you so much. I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay. I just kind of want to get a general concept of
Sure.
what you're kind of going for in relation to packs and troop connection. Like, I kind of follow it, but I feel like I'm kind of missing the underlying thesis of
The underlying thesis is packs die without troop connections, troops die without pack connections.
Okay, so the idea is to make, as a pack, to reach out to different troops, to coordinate throughout the year, create relationships with not just maybe one pack, but with multiple packs.
Well, lean in on having a relationship with a troop.
I mean, that's a troop.
Yeah. The first place that you can lean in is the parents who have just come to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Make sure that they stay on the committees in the pack. Make sure that they maintain those relationships.
Okay.
Try to plan more than one function. You're going to have a Pinewood Derby. Scouts need service hours. What's a better thing than having scouts in uniform running a Pinewood Derby?
Okay, so
You know,
sorry, I'm really bad at like grabbing concepts. So then, like, to help with keeping consistent adult recruitment, it's you make these connections with these packs that then they feed into, but then they also, but these packs you're connected with so that they can feed in, they go back and forth between the two.
it's a symbiotic
Okay,
relationship.
that's what I wanted to make sure that I got that
Yep.
thesis thing. Thank you so
That's
much.
for sure. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? And I think your professional staff will be super happy to hear from you. The elephant in the room is I have to go back to Europe at the end of July. So that's part of why Marie is taking over for North until somebody else decides to step up and take that. But that is where we're at. And that's part of why it was a special thing to be able to do this for you guys today.
Thank you, David. Thank you for your time with us, and you will be missed.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, I'm up, right? It's me. I'm up. I'm talking about Dan in the Box 2.0. What's the future? First of all, does everybody in here, you've all seen one of these guys? Have any of you used one personally? All right, what didn't work about it? Is
There was no structure, it felt like.
Felt like there was no structure?
Yeah, you gave them a couple of things and like the printouts of what there was, but there was no like direction or consistency as to what you use them for. It It seemed just so random.
Sure.
I
Like
kind of
nothing
had the
was.
same opinion.
Yeah.
It's just like a bunch of supplies. Here's what all these supplies cover. Have fun.
Yeah, and it didn't,
Yeah.
and what would have been like specifically helpful is not so much a piece for different things, but at least a way to do at least 1 or 2 full adventures instead of just a piece from more adventures. That would have been a lot more helpful.
On the opposite end, I knew the program and I just did my own thing.
Okay.
So I used
Just
some of the
that's
supplies
neat.
for one of the adventures, but
Okay.
that was opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, it is helpful for having supplies, but.
Yeah.
So, did you guys attend the training where we launched them?
No, I didn't know about training. I didn't know about them until I showed up and they're like, oh, look, they gave us these. I'm like,
As a parent, I really liked them because there was no way that I was going to take this on as a parent. I work full time, I'm a single parent. I don't have time to do all the stuff that I want to help my group. And so this gave us a thing that if someone could be there, we could very easily step in and read. I honestly was able to use a lot of those things for multiple things and make things work. So it was better than nothing. So
Better than nothing.
the year
All right.
before, I was stuck in there and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's just been.
Well, I also came in brand new and was handed the box. And it took me a little while to go through and figure out where the plans were. And once I got a hold of that, it's like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Because if I like an activity or if I had a better set of whatevers to use, it was really easy to switch that out. But there were things in there that gave me some ideas and some planning that I really appreciated being new to it.
I think it was great, and it helped to recruit den leaders, but they didn't always realize you should open it up before the meeting.
oh, we get it at the meeting.
Yeah.
I would say also, I was a lion tiger, so it might be different for the older ones than for the littler ones.
Sure.
So it was a lot.
I'll address that.
There's like, I feel like there's like a slight disconnection there because for the littler
So you
ones, it might be need a
Were
little
you
more.
were you primarily a lion leader or a tiger leader?
Primarily a tiger leader.
But you couldn't find a lion leader.
No, yeah, because I was the previous lion leader.
Alright.
Because there was only one, and then there was one again.
Yeah, only one. Yeah.
As Cubmaster, I had actually printed up a den leader, copied, made the books, and put in the boxes with it, so they
Okay.
had
The whole book?
the whole thing.
Yeah.
And gave them some worksheets. I worked with a couple of websites and stuff that had worksheets for the activities. And I said, hey, you want it? I'll print it up for you for each kid, and they have something to work with too. So it gave you somewhere to go, but it was still, you were still trying to, okay, what, where, when.
So I'll a little to backtrack it about a year and a half. In 2022, we had not an insignificant amount of our larger packs halt recruiting, and these are packs that traditionally had recruited 20, 30 Cub Scouts in any given year. And they said, and they stopped at about 10 or 12 or 15 Cub Scouts. And we're suddenly a large part of our membership losses in 2022. Cub Scout membership losses were in about 3 different Cub Scout packs. And that made up well over half of the number of Cub Scouts that we were behind the year prior. And in speaking with these units, they stopped recruiting because they didn't have den leaders to deliver the program. Not that they didn't want to. They said, I don't have leaders. And bear in mind that every new Cub Scout comes with a potential leader, or 2, or sometimes more. That was their barrier to recruitment. And so we sat down and we said, how do we help units onboard new den leaders quicker? How do we make it easy? I told you at the beginning of the day, had you asked me to be a den leader 2 years ago, I would have said, get out of here. I'm with you in the back, right? You're a parent. That's too much. I got things going on. I think the new Cub Scout program is going to help blow down a ton of those barriers. And some things that we want to do with the new Den in the Box will help that too. So our goal was not to give you all of the program for a whole year. We had people come to us in January saying, where's my second box? We never said there would be a second box. I had somebody come to me in December and say, where's my box? And we said, your unit has it. And this den leader had never been given their box. And which is disappointing. You should have been done using it by December. But our goal with the Den in the Box was to be able to hand this to a new parent and say, here is about 4 months of activities that should get you on board and thinking about how it is, what it means to be a den leader, how to plan this stuff. And here you go. Or you use it how you want, but that was kind of the ultimate goal. With the goal of hopefully recruiting more den leaders. Now, does anybody think they recruited more den leaders in 2023 than they did in 2022? Does anybody feel that?
Had like 3 or 4 parents step up.
Okay. Some people do, some don't. As a council, we recruited 56% more new den leaders in 2023 than we did in 2022. That doesn't necessarily mean you all experienced that. There's other factors. I'm not saying that's all den in the box. There's by all means other factors to that. But I think that was definitely a step in the right direction. Did we recruit more Cub Scouts? We did recruit more Cub Scouts. We eked out a very slight membership gain in Cub Scouts. Very slight, literally 7 Cub Scouts. That's better than not. And so we think we have the gears in motion. We think we have the makings for what can be more. That's why I wish this would have come out last year to hit the Den in the Box with that. But our plans for Den in the Box, and the other piece, when we pitched this to the board, myself and our previous VP of membership prior to Kerm, we pitched this to the board of directors to kind of say, hey, we're looking to spend a lot of money on this project. So what do you guys think? We had a lot, not an insignificant amount of naysayers who thought, what are you thinking, Brandon? You're going to spend all this money on this idea. And I truly believed in it. And our new board president happens to be helping along. He's a COR for a couple of units as well. He's come to me recently and he said, I really didn't know about this, Brandon, but I've seen it in action and I see the den leaders pull this out and run with it. So those things are good to know. Valuable feedback from everyone. And I want you to know that we do take that feedback. And this came from Joseph. Is that your name?
I used to go by Bud. It's my
Okay,
middle name,
Bud.
but I'm always going to Joseph and Scouts because they never put my middle name on.
All right. Well, he brought his box back today. He thought maybe he was supposed to turn it back in. They're yours to keep. Don't worry about turning them in. The program is changing. We're going to take a look at what we're going to put in there. If you can dig back into past box. But I was pretty pleased with the condition of this box. Did you even use this?
Absolutely.
So that's a bare box.
I added some of the supplies that replaced some that was in there. But
Sure.
it was,
Yeah.
you know,
That's a bare box. I believe that had Marble Madness. Marie kind of headed up the design of that one, and that one was mad putting together. So Marble Madness. I hope everybody had fun with that.
Having your individual marbles was a blast, let me tell you.
Yeah, there's a lot of counting, so we'll be looking for a little help when it comes to putting these together. But so we are committed to doing a Den in the Box for 2024, just so you know. Last year, what we did, we put about 4 adventures in every box, at least 2 of which, generally 3 of which were required adventures, and then 1 elective sort of fun stuff. No, we couldn't quite put absolutely everything in there. We did give you a list. Hope you saw that, a list of what was not in there that you would need to carry out your adventure. And some of the other feedback we heard, I don't know if anybody agrees with this, disagrees, no lion box. We didn't produce a lion box last year. That was a conscious decision to not create a lion box. We felt that the lion program is simple enough that it didn't really necessitate a box. You should, as an adult, we felt at the time, that you should, as an adult or parent of a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, be able to kind of manage that. We did hear from quite a few people, where's the Lion box, where's the Lion box? Instead of doing the box, we provided the Lion book, bag, and belt free of charge to all of our first 100 Lions that joined, which is, I think we had 102 Lions join. So we got rid of them all. So our goal this year, we do want to make a Lion box. What that'll look like, it probably won't be super substantial. This is a kindergarten program. The book is kind of a workbook. It's meant to be sort of worked on together.
I had just a thought of, because since my son's been in, anytime lions and tigers have always kind of been together. So
That's
a
where I'm
way
heading.
for
Yeah.
there to be kind of like even just a mini outline of how you can line some of the lion and tiger stuff up, which with the new program, it's a lot easier to do. But before, not having a lion box is fine. That you're correct in that, but being able to find a way to coordinate with that, with the lion stuff, makes it easier.
So that is, and looking at the requirements for the new program, the lion and tiger requirements are very similar for a lot of the adventures. So our initial thoughts and what we're looking at right now is potentially in putting the lion and tiger box together in one box. Our lion dens are not large. Our tiger dens aren't much bigger. And so we think we might merge those. We want to make sure there's stuff for both dens, but potentially package them in the same box. I just have a hard time thinking of what on earth we would put in a lion box that would fill the box. So, and that cuts down on the need for quite a few boxes. Boxes aren't, they're not free. And I do want you to know that this is a Pathway to the Rockies Council innovation. This is not something national provided. We did this for you. We did this to grow scouting here. And we do intend to separate the Webelos and AOL box. The program is very clear separation now. We want to make that clear from the den leader, the den and the box. So we don't have anything to show you. Last year at this time, we kind of rolled out prototypes of the boxes. We don't have that. We don't have all the activities and stuff from national just yet. So as soon as June 1 hits, we're going to hit it hard and take a good hard look at that. But our goal of what we want to initially, what we're looking at, is we want to put in the materials that will help your den leaders provide all of the required adventures for a den. Now, keeping in mind the family reverence themed adventure is generally it is recommended that be a do-at-home adventure. So we probably won't include much. Last year we put some pamphlets in the AOL Weeblo box about the religious awards Scouts could earn. Probably do something like that. That is generally a do-at-home adventure. So that leaves us with 5, and we want to make them worthwhile. So we'll take a look at required things and stuff to help make those go. The 2 elective adventures. I don't think it's going to be difficult for your unit to find 2 elective adventures. My goodness, I thought it was closer. Somewhere on this list. When you take into account race time. I don't know if you all remembered. How many of you don't do a Pinewood Derby? That's what I thought. So race time, the requirements for race time are basically do a Pinewood Derby or a ring gutter regatta. So there's going to be an adventure. We are going to have a fishing derby at Camp Alexander in September that will guide your scouts to finishing their fishing adventure. We are looking at ways we can create some other kind of council level events, specifically in obviously the range and target activities, as well as some of the aquatic stuff. If you come up to family resident camp this at the end of July, where we're looking to have a lot of kind of the aquatics, the range and target activities, the aquatics, so fishing or swimming and boating. Everyone has a swimming adventure. Boating starts at Bear.
Sorry, I just thought of this. Is there anywhere online, like either through council or through BSA, where somebody that's at the PAC level, so committee chair or Cupmaster or whatever that's setting up the PAC meetings can look across and compare the requirements for the electives and say, hey, as a PAC, we should try to look at the electives and align them for all of the DENs, right? Rather than having to go through each DEN book and say, these all look about the same. Let's try to focus on, we said race time, right?
Yeah.
That's an easy one to pull out, but is there an easy way to compare the requirements across all ranks?
That's a little trickier, and I think that's where you kind of have these groups. So like these ones are thematically the same, right? Fishing, cycling, swimming, race time. And they don't not all adventures look like another adventure in another rank, right? So there's
and that's the point of the question. Right?
Yeah. So like where is it? Yo-yo, right here, in Webelos. By the way, I'm pretty sure the only program supply you'll need for that is a yo-yo. But there's nothing like yo-yo in any other ones. There's the, whittling, chef's knife,
Knife safety.
and knife safety. Those are, we were talking, whittling chip is no longer a thing. It has been broken apart, and you get lifelong knife safety learning here, here, and here. But the card itself is no longer an award. The awards are gone, right? So, World Conservation, that is not the name of the adventure. Yeah, some of this stuff was created before I think they came and landed on some stuff. It was the World Conservation Award, but it is Champions for Nature. So some of them have the same name like that, but I think if you want to get into the electives and do something as a PAC, you might want to stick with some of the ones that are thematically similar. We've gone through and essentially taken a look at all of them, assigned a theme to them all, and we'll share some of that stuff along with some other planning stuff. And that is kind of the calendar that I sort of shared. Generally keeps themes the same. I do want to share the personal safety, the one themed one, personal safety. Some of that is first aid themed. Some of that is stranger danger themed. Some of that is I know how to use emergency services in my community themed. But it's all in the realm of personal safety. So even as a similar theme, it may not work directly across. Does that kind of make sense? So, but our ultimate goal with the Den in the Box is to provide, the required adventures and really take a look at what that is. Now, does that mean we're going to give you every single program supply for every required adventure? It can't mean that, unfortunately. There are required adventures that require you to cook something at some levels. We can't provide that. We're not putting food in the box. There are things that you will have to do, but we want to provide other ancillary resources that help guide you through that process. So that's kind of the gist, and then ultimately help supplement with council regional activities that might help you get here. Does that sound cool? I'm pretty excited about it.
Are you guys redoing boxes or refilling boxes?
Yeah, from scratch.
Logistically, what does that look like?
Oh, logistically, logistically, that looks like we're going to ask for a little help this year. Yeah, logistically, what that looked like last year. So, I suppose you all know our office here in Colorado Springs is a little limited. We have a building that we inherited through the merger a couple of years ago in Pueblo, where we kind of staged all of this last year. We were able to kind of build it all out, and we overtook the conference room for the month of July, basically. We'd go down there every few days and literally counting stuff, putting it in the boxes, making sure it's all there. So we'll be asking for some volunteer help. But it was a good time. Marie had she enlisted her children, and
My kids love counting. If you
So-
want short something, I apologize.
yeah, hopefully you all have those. And ultimately, some of our packs don't all come in the same size. We built our boxes to be 8 kids per den through the main dens, and then Weebelow's AOL was 6 kids per den. And we issued some extra boxes to some of our larger packs. But I think we asked that your pack be substantially larger before we kind of issued second set of boxes, and we intend to do that. But if you had 10 kids, we kind of asked that, hey, can you just help supplement your own? We're not going to give you a whole nother box. We do have a limited supply of these. So, any questions about it?
So, well, are you refilling boxes? Or
Oh,
have you-
rebuild, totally from scratch, new boxes. Yeah, we're gonna we have to kind of redesign the box a little bit, and it's gonna have a slightly different. What did you guys think of the size of the box? 'Cause we're gonna make it like 5 times bigger. No, we think it'll be a little bit longer and possibly a little bit shorter. Is the only major changes. So it still needs to fit some
With
stuff.
all of our current boxes, then those could go we could collect them from our den leaders and maybe give them to the next den leaders or put them into our pack supplies. Like we don't need to really keep them together.
You don't. If you're done, hopefully you're all done using them. You've completed all the stuff in them.
I didn't use mine very much.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But yeah, and we think this is a good launching point with a new program. Like I said, I wish the program would have launched last year and we could have just lined it all out then. I don't know what it'll look like beyond that. We're kind of committed to one more year building them, but I don't know. I think it's really streamlined. We'll see. So, but anyway, that's the future of Den in the Box 2.0. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, one other quick question. Like, what's the timeline? Are we looking at like the end of August, middle of August, like what?
So last year we distributed. I think you have to go to the other slide there. We distributed in early-ish August. I think it was like, I don't know, somewhere in the 9th or 10th or something. Probably a similar time frame. And just a handful of things. So I don't know. We kind of wanted to utilize that and kind of fall recruitment training and just do it all at once. We do actually, last year we kind of just said, everybody come get them. We do want to put some stipulations into fall recruitment planning. So you must do a handful of things to get the box. And that's just going to be a little bit of what Marie's going to talk about, but kind of a commitment to fall recruitment planning. What we really don't want to do is give them to somebody who doesn't intend to recruit anyone. So.
Thank you.
Yes.
We need to get some troop scouts with their service hours.
Yeah. Yeah. My son did get some service hours. Not gonna lie on that one. Okay, so it's recruitment planning for you guys, and some of you guys that have already been through at least a year know that we try to contact and reach out to you guys to go ahead and give you your supply order form of how many flyers are you thinking, what join nights are you guys going to have, so we can have a date, time, and location on these flyers. It works best if we do have a specific join night on there. We have seen that having the recruitment night on there brings in more people because they're like, if it's every Thursday or every Tuesday, we can just go next time, or we can go next time. So you'll be hearing from me and Danston, sending those out to you guys. I did not print any of them because I figured PDF format is just way easier for everybody just to fill it out and send it back. But this is the time where you're going to start thinking about when do we want to do our join night, and then start working with your schools and figuring out when your open houses are. So that way we can make sure that you have all of the supplies that you need. And like I said, it has everything on there from yard signs, if you guys need new yard signs, the flyers, bookmarks. We're looking at some other additional items as well. So what you guys need for your printing needs. This is where I really monopolize our printer at work. And so does Danston. So we really try to make sure that we're there to help uplift it. As far as Peach Jar is concerned, we do have the availability to where we can upload those flyers for you guys. It does take about 2 weeks for them to go ahead and go out at a minimum, because someone from your school district has to approve the flyer before they send it out. So if you call us up the day before and be like, hey, can we get this on Peach Jar? it's probably going to take 2 weeks, just FYI. So it's very important to, when you have those dates, some of your schools will already list your open houses on their district websites, or you can just contact your school. They may already have it as well. What Brandon was talking about as far as like for Den in the Boxes, each one of your units, me and Danson are going to meet with you guys so we can come up with your recruitment plan, talk to you about your join nights. That is going to be one requirement to go ahead and do the Den in the Boxes, because we want to make sure that we have FaceTime with you guys. We want to make sure that you guys know that we're here and we're ready to help you wherever we can. That way we can also schedule, because there's quite a lot of units and there is me and Danson at this moment. So we want to make sure that we give you guys your guys' due diligence. Any questions as far as like how like the recruitment form works, or like what you guys have seen that works best for you guys, whether it be flyers or any recruitment materials that we can take back and work on? No? Yay? Whose schools will actually let us do paper flyers? That's a question.
I have no idea.
Okay.
What do you mean?
I don't think they care one way or another.
You don't? No?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think there's rules.
Some schools will not let us do an actual physical flyer. They'll only let us do a digital flyer. So that's what I was curious about.
Our schools will.
The schools will? Okay.
Yeah, District 2.
District 2 will? Okay. And then I know D20 is a little bit more complicated when it comes to paper. That's why you gentlemen came to mind on that one. Is there anything else that like we could do more to help you guys with recruitment?
So I was thinking about this earlier. It's, where do we find kids and parents? It's a lot of times it's like the community parks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any way of like setting up the in-ground flyers near the parks?
We can contact the Park and Rec Department and see if we can go ahead and put those up. The only stipulation I'm sure would be that we need to make sure that we get them taken back down.
Right.
We just don't leave them. So PAC 100, they did like 50 yard signs. We're looking at getting more. Right now we are currently out, so I do apologize. But we were looking at getting more. They put out 50 different yard signs all throughout their area, and that drove a lot of people contacting them. We can even make it where we can print like a QR code to go on the side of it as well. So we do have that availability. Yard signs are really, really great. If there's an event that you guys know of, like I said, Fiona is not here because she is actually running an event at the soccer house. If you guys see like any open houses or like Get Outdoors days coming up, we will have a booth there. So anything you guys think of as far as, hey, I really want to set up a booth here, we can help you facilitate that.
Okay.
And it's really just us talking with you guys. Yes, Mr. Andy?
Is the council doing anything for territory days?
Not that I am aware of. I do apologize.
Because, rather than have 15 units having booths.
Right. We have not reached out to territory days at this precise moment. I can talk with Danson about that, and I'm going to be out of town, so I will not be available for that one. But I think and if there's a booth that's out there that has a fee and that type of stuff, just give us a call and contact us. We can see what we can do. Normally we can, work with them because we are a nonprofit on getting a booth as well. So, but not territory days, not this year, I don't believe.
What about a poster or a banner, like if we have a open house night and we have a table? I have 3 simultaneously,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't want to buy 3, but if I could borrow a couple.
Well, we do have posters. So we should still have posters left, and we will be ordering more posters. So
Okay.
I can order all recruitment supplies in July, and that's why we want to go ahead and start. You guys will get a mail merge, like a mail or an email from us with the recruitment supply form through your key 3, probably by Tuesday. So that way we can start setting up those meetings, because I get to order supplies July, and I want to make sure that they are here for when recruitment season starts for you guys.
About like a race tent.
A race tent?
Yeah, like a 10 by 10. Yeah.
Oh,
It says Boy Scouts, it's blue.
we do
You
have
can
one
follow
that we can check out.
Okay,
Again, the expectation is that once you're done, it just comes back
sure.
as soon as possible, because we do have others that do check it out. So we do have the sunshade
Yeah.
to check out. We do have a bag that has, books in it, Pinewood Derby, stuff to put out on the table. I do have different things that I can print as well for like take homes for kids, pretty simple stuff. I just need enough time to be able to do it for you. So
I think we've got like a farmer's market that kicks off, and if we had booths for, you know, kind of like a semi-recruitment.
Yeah, we could definitely set that up for you. That's not a problem.
I mean, I could run it. I'm just saying, if I could borrow this stuff.
Yeah, you can borrow it. Yeah, we definitely have it where you can check it out for any recruitment events. And as well as if you need personalized flyers for your particular, you know, since it's going to be in Woodland Park and you guys are the pack there. If we do a bigger one like Outdoors Day, or we just did one for the Easter egg at the soccer house for Easter, we do ask that that's at that point, like we're recruiting for everybody. So we have flyers that go to just beascout.org where you can just state, hey, you can put in your zip code. You know, we just did a homeschool fair one at the library. Me and Brandon were out there. So it was just answering questions and that type of stuff and helping them direct towards the event itself. And then we do have QR codes that we can create where a person can literally scan it and put in their information. We'll get the form, kind of like how you guys registered today, where we can actually direct them, okay, these are the units in your area, here's their contact information. So we can actually reply back to them as well, or even just send it to you, hey, we have people in your area that are looking for you. Any other questions, concerns?
What's it?
Any other questions? Hi, Mr. Steve. No? Yes, ma'am.
Do you have or get or any kinds of like lists of events where we could like to send out so we could see what kind of events are around the whole area to possibly recruit at?
So some organizations do reach out to us. So we do have like, what school district? You're in District 2. Sorry, losing my train of thought. Sometimes we'll get information from them or we'll get invited. And so we'll send that out to units to see if they want to go ahead and cover that, or we'll come out and cover it as well. So we can, but if you have one that like, if you hear on the radio, you know, if you're just driving or whatever, or if you see one of those signs out and says, oh, hey, they're having an event, you can reach out to us with that information and we can call them and see about if we can get a booth there.
Okay, I was just wondering because I get for Girl Scout recruitment, I get a whole list that I sign up for. So,
gotcha.
So I was just like, do you have that I could do?
I would say there's no shortage of community events where we could have a presence. What we lack are volunteers to help make that presence happen. So I think that is the thing. But we will foot the bill on any cost of those. We just ask that if you man a table that you're kind of recruiting for the whole of Cub Scouting, not just your own unit when you do that. So.
And with that, I actually do have probably about 3 opportunities for events like that if your unit is interested in maybe volunteering at a booth. I know you've been invited to do the Get Outdoors Day with there's some organizations here in the Springs. They're basically hosting a day where all the outdoor ventures that there are in the community are all going to kind of get together and put on an event. We've been asked to be there at that one. That's a great opportunity. I know the Western Mining Museum is also having some family days, as they call them, where they are doing various themed activities. We've been asked to run a booth there. So there's definitely some opportunities that I know about that I'd love to share with you guys. If you want to know more about that, come talk to me.
It seems like it'd be a good idea for you guys to send out a monthly to like all the top 3s for the packs and the troops of volunteer opportunities.
I think that is a great idea.
And then they can filter it down to the packs and be like, hey, here's an opportunity. Let's go build.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think that's awesome. We can look at incorporating that somehow. Yes.
Also, like I said, I did do Girl Scouts. They do a sign up genius. They have all these events and they just put them all out, what there is, and they just do a sign up genius. And if people sign up to do them, they do them. If not, they don't. So it's like, you know, it just gives it out there. And with it being a sign up genius, it's like we need volunteers. So if you are like, you have everybody's email that's associated with all this.
Yeah.
You could put that, like send out like it's recruitment time for anybody and everybody who wants to help. And then that way, you know, like they can do it for the whole region.
Yeah, no, that's great feedback. I don't always have all the answers, so I love it when I can get some fresh ideas that maybe we can incorporate.
Do you guys have more of these? This looks like a perfect thing to give to scouts to give to their friends before school lets out.
Yes, I do have some extras in the back. I can certainly order more if I run out. Because this should have reached every Cub Scout in the council. If you didn't, then there may be some, then come see me because we pulled it from the list of all the Cub Scouts, so you may have not been on it for some reason. That's something that we need to correct. So if your Cub Scout did not get one of these, I want to make sure that they get this in their hand. Because one of the biggest parts about recruitment is retention. During the summer, Scouts are itching to do something. This is a great opportunity for them to do some fun activities this summer and get out and learn some adventures and continue to retain those Scouts over the summer when your packs might not be as active. So I could definitely if your Scout didn't get one, I'd love to get one in their hands. I'd love to also give some for maybe you guys to pass out. And there's a lot of volunteer opportunities for all of these days. So if you or anybody in your unit is interested in volunteering and helping us make these adventures amazing for our Cub Scouts, I'd love to talk to anybody that's interested in volunteering for some of these day camps as well. A lot of fun stuff planned. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be a great opportunity for your Scouts to get out there, enjoy the outdoors, and earn some elective adventures. Summer adventure is going to be a great time. I hope to see all of you guys out there.
Yeah, no, that's it. If you guys have any further questions, I think Mr. Steve Hayes, our council president, would like to come up and say a couple of words.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. This is really important. Working the membership issues and growing our units fits in, from the council perspective. We have been, we've been in survival mode for, starting with COVID through a couple of years, reorganization with a merger of 2 Scout councils. Our council now encompasses 63 school districts, a whole third of Colorado. So it's big, okay? We're shifting now. We want to go to strategic growth. So that's being better able to support your units, okay? To help you grow, cement our relationships with our existing charter partners and across the way. But we're also, scouting's a network, okay? It's a support network, community organizations, businesses. We all partner, the school districts, we all partner to provide a better environment for our youth to grow and develop. And that's important, okay? Our nation needs scouting desperately, okay? And what it provides our youth as we grow. So, we're on an endeavor to grow scouting where we're not, to grow it stronger where we are and to move forward. So being here today, you're an important piece to that strategy going forward. Really pleased to see you here. Looking forward to where we're going and growing in the future. And thanks.
Thank you, Steve. So that's what we have for you this evening. We did get you out earlier, so yay. But we really appreciate you guys coming out here. And without you guys, you guys are the backbone of our organization, and we appreciate everything that you guys do for us. So if you have any questions or any concerns, please reach out to us. Gentlemen, you guys will definitely get my card before you leave. Yep, you will get that in like 2 seconds. But if you have further questions, please let us know.